see it. We made labels. Zoom. All right. So we got some directories that we were able to get from some of our students. And basically the grad letters, we adjusted it for their school, and we're sending private letters to their house. So we're getting labels printed at Office Max, and we're going to mail letters to all the seniors. So all the seniors, and then I think we might do last year's seniors and the year before, but just to have an extra boost in touches to help get more of the people we want in.
Are you mailing this yourself, or
we are doing it. We are doing it. Labels have been all typed out. Labels have been made. They're being sent to print, and then we're having a little letter party here in the next 2 days.
Yeah, and stamps you can actually like buy them by like large portions, or like the actual like stamp thingy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as expensive as like individual stamps.
All right, cool. You have Saito on there? Gordon, do you have Saito on there?
I don't.
He was on someone's computer. Can we get him on? Or FaceTime him? She took it for PDI. Put him on FaceTime. Throw him on here on a computer, or get him on Uvu somehow, por favor. All righty. So let me switch this here. So very excited for today. We've got a Power Pack meeting and excited to really get rolling here for the summer. It's been fun going through just reports. I was talking to, and hopefully I'll get a message back from Mike Muriel's pilot, who was his pilot in 2012. Is actually a district manager now, but somebody who I remember in 2012 was my biggest year, and it was my second biggest summer. But I remember starting off in May, like, yeah, we're gonna be like top in the nation, and we had broken, like no one had broken my record that we had set a couple years back, and they're going, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we'll talk about like Mike Muriel, who's like at nothing for May, like everything had gone wrong. They were like at zero. They told very, very little. Last week of May, they're going into June, and they get, and he told me, I was talking to him earlier this morning, Spencer, it's a good friend of his. They were chatting, and he goes, I remember they were like $1 million summer, $1 million summer, $1 million summer. And then it got to the end of May, and they're like, 750 summer, 750 summer, you know? And then Darren was like, F that crap, we're having $1 million summer. And by the way, they had $1 million summer. They had a small training class, and I remember Mike telling us a story where he told them in their fast start they have to come to the office every morning at 8 a.m. just for their first week. And then after that, they can work from home. And so you basically had like an alliance with this fast start. Every day they were there in the morning. And I remember them creating multiple 10K fast starters out of that class, 6K fast starters, and popping like 40K and then like 60K in new business. I was like, what? They had like no team. They hadn't recruited. But it was just, I remember it was the story of that year. And I was like, what the heck? And then they beat us for the summer. We did 980 or something that summer. And they ended up beating us with a really slow start. And so I'm really excited for this meeting because I know that, you know, for us, even as a division, we broke later this year, and we've had a slower start to the summer than we wanted, but it doesn't mean that we don't need to get to where we're at, okay? And so I had here game time, you know, like we're literally exactly 2 weeks away from playoffs, all right? Right now, this is the last week of May. May finishes out on Tuesday, and then it's June 1st. So, you know, what can we create right now? Southeast, getting going. You guys are starting June. Like, let's roll. But I love this, and some of you guys are like, oh, trying to get everything perfect. I talked to some people this past week. They're like, oh, I'm trying to get this, or I'm trying to get this set. I remember Saito and I talked Wednesday, and he's like, trying to get my office all set up perfect, and he's going through it. And I was like, dude, seriously? Just do something. Send me a video right now. And he sent me a video of his office, and I was like, okay, just use the front area. Don't go to the back. I was like, use the front area, interview people there. We set everything up. I'm like, you just make it happen. Like, champions find a way to just make crap happen. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look perfect. Just make something happen. Make one little space that looks reasonably okay, or go to Starbucks and meet them there. Whatever. Like, find a way to make it happen. And so the first step to getting towards somewhere is that you're going to decide you're not going to stay where you are. And I think about right now for anyone, and even in the pilot this week, I was like, you know what? this is bull crap. Like this has been a slower start than I wanted. I do not have the amount of people that I want as we're getting ready for SC1. So I'm running 2 trainings a week. I ran 2 trainings this week. I'm running training on Monday. I have 30-something people scheduled for Monday. We still have interviews tomorrow. I'm running Monday, Tuesday, and then I'm running training again on Thursday, Friday. And then the next week I'm running training again on Monday, Tuesday, and then I'm running training again on Wednesday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday. I'm running 2 advanced training once per week, 2 advanced training 2 per week, advanced training 3s, PCs. I was like, we're gonna make it happen. Like, it's gonna be no excuses. I had a goal for the summer and it's freaking getting done. And that's up to you to make a decision to say, I had a goal, I wanna do this, like, let's go. Let's find a way to make stuff happen. I love this quote. Many of you guys have heard me say it's one of my favorites. It's by Les Brown. It says, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. And I want to encourage everybody, what is that next first step that you need to take in whatever part of the business to get things moving? There's 3 simple rules in life. If you do not go after what you want, you'll never have it. Cool? Number 1, and this is something great that you guys can talk about with your reps. I think about you branches listening right now. I'd be writing notes because this is something that you can talk to them about at some point, whether it's in a team meeting or it's at an alliance meeting, something we're sharing with them. All right? But you've got to go after what you want. You can't wait for it to come to you, all right? So you have to make a decision to go out there. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. I think about, for you guys, talking to people, even with reps, right? Like asking if they'll put a post-it for you, asking if they'll, go through their Snapchat and send it to everyone in their Snapchat, asking your best friend, yo, would you be willing to put a post-it for me? Would you be willing to do this? If you didn't ask, the answer was going to be no anyway, right? Might as well ask. And by the way, some people will surprise you. And some people will be like, yeah, dude, no problem. And you're like, what? And totally will surprise you, even for work. And I've had reps of ours that are like, yeah, I never thought my friend would say yes, or I never thought my friend would want to do this, or I never thought whatever. But just by throwing it out there, they were like, you know what? Yeah, like I actually want something great. And the third thing is, if you don't take a step forward, you'll always be in the same place. And guys, this summer was about taking a step forward for you guys, personally, professionally, and I can't wait. We're 1 month away from you guys being able to really experience some exciting stuff financially for all of us. For the Vector Summer, we don't break even. Most of us don't break even until July, period. For me, I don't break even until later into July. That's just like our expenses are in the beginning. We build our team, and the mass of our sales are in July and August. So that is a flow that for anyone who's been in the business, we know that through year after year after year. And Kyle, there's a seat right here, and there's a seat right here in the front. If you can fill one of those in, please. But make sure that you guys are and continue taking a step forward in the right direction. Don't wish for it, work for it. Some of you guys are like, I wish I had that. I wish I had what Gordon had. I wish I had whatever. I've been talking to Gordon for over a month, seeing him working his butt off around finals, talking to his guys, piecing his guys, going back and forth. And even for the first week he got in his office, where I'm thinking, things are like chill. He's, setting stuff up. I'm like, hey, can we get a call? He's like, I'm in a PC. I got another PC. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I was like, holy crap. Like, I felt like he had more activity going on than I had in my office, in my organization. And he's been working for it. So when people are like, oh my God, I wish I had that. He's been working his ass off, okay? I have been working with him for a couple years now, and I've never seen Gordon so focused and so intentional about what he wants to get done and really driving the results and not just staying busy. And we'll talk about that later, because I'm sure he can tell you too, there were times where you're like, you're working, but you're doing busy work and you're not working on what matters. Philippe, I want you right up here, dude. So you're not working on what matters. You're not working on the stuff that's going to move the needle the most. Barbara can scooch over. So this right here, wanting to have a great summer, wanting to break records is not enough to get it done. You've got to act upon your goals. So it says here, and I love this, and I really want you guys to think to yourself for a moment, if somebody was watching your day-to-day behavior, would they be able to see what you're working towards? Would they be able to see what your goals are? If the answer is no, fix it. And think to yourself right now, someone was watching you, all right? You know what? The top people, they're in their office at 7:30 a.m., 8 a.m. at latest in the offices. They're running Champions Club on a daily basis, even if it's for one person. They're meeting with that person, all right? And even I've had mornings when nobody showed up, and I'm like, hey, let's go. It doesn't matter if it's for one person. It's worth pouring into them. It's worth developing that person. How about if that person becomes your scholarship winner this summer and they go out and ship 40, 50K plus, So what are you doing to help develop these people? And again, dreams don't work unless you do. I hear about branches all the time sleeping in, and they're like, oh yeah, it's like, well, I didn't have anything going on in my office. Go do something. You know what I did when I had nothing going on in my office? I was flyering apartment complexes around the school at my branch. You know, like it was a really quiet town in Bradenton, and I'd wake up in the morning, and when I didn't have reps in the beginning, I'd go to apartment complexes and I'd put flyers on cars, okay, that said student work. I'd go to the movie theater at night, and I'd pass out cards. I'd go to the bowling alley, I'd go to the pool hall, and I'd make it happen. By the way, my record still holds in Florida for that territory, all right? It isn't a massive, but a couple of you guys in this room are gonna break my branch number this summer. It's $146,000, but that territory was never known to create something like that. And by the way, that was in 2003, and it still hasn't been broken. And I was like, I'm gonna make something happen here, you know? And I went out there and I found them. And they weren't just, you know, all coming in to apply. It was a really small territory that was part of a DM territory that didn't have a lot of touches. But I found a way to make it happen through creating touches and then with PRs, and we made something incredible happen. I want to share with you guys before I dive into reports, 10 things. You could write these down. 10 things that people do differently, all right? Type them or write them. Number one, they create and pursue focused goals, all right? Focused goals. And I think about, you know, Lloyd talked about this on Tuesday, right? On our call. And he talked about, you know, do you have a very specific focused goal that you're going for? Do people know it? Do they hear about it? Is it having the best office in Beaumont history? Is it having the best office, the biggest summer in Baytown? Is it having, you know, whatever it is, setting an all-time record, being the first office to win the trip at, you know, in a brand new location? Like Jersey Village is going to be on the map because he said this couldn't be its own territory, and we're going to show people what's up, and we're going to be one of the top national champions and be one of the top performers, you know, win the trip, all that. But just talking about putting yourself on national standings, all right? By winning the trip, you are on national standings. I'd be talking about our goals to be on national standings this summer, to put, you know, Richmond on the map, to put Fulshire on the map. So make sure that they know what you're excited about. Second is they take decisive and immediate action, okay? And you know, knowing, and that was us in the pilot last week. Oh crap, we're not doing stuff. All right, we need to take action. What do we need to do? You know, make decisions to create different results. And again, take immediate action. Not, I'm gonna do it next week. It's what can I do right now to move the needle? What can I do right now to make an impact? And really thinking about that as you guys are running your business. Number three, they focus on being productive, not being pushy, all right? Being productive, not being pushy. And or not being busy, excuse me, not being busy. And this is what I was saying before, it's very easy to be busy. I was a new DM for my first couple years, and I was always really busy, but I wasn't being as productive as I could be. I was actually not a very good DM when I was brand new. I didn't sell much in my first 8 months. My first fall was less than $40,000 all fall. That next year in 2005 was really slow year, but that summer picked up through guidance that I got. And then in fall of 2005 in October, I met Justin Donald. I met Rachel, who will be in my wedding, one of my bridesmaids. I met Ryan Casey, who will be at my wedding as well. And these individuals, you know, took me under their wing. And they were like, all right, let's make you a rock star. You have what it takes. Like let's show us, let us show us, show you what it takes to go out there. And by the way, that fall, I did more by the way, I remember that November, December, I did more business than I did the entire spring. And we ended up, and those are usually slower months in Vector for new reps, all right? For the CSPs and FSM, those are huge months because of all the gifts and stuff, but new reps kind of get thrown around in the holidays if they're not like well skilled. And I remember going out and it was amazing. And I remember saying, you know what? I think, and when I was at cross-training with Ryan, I said, do you think maybe 2 years from now I could do $1 million? Do you think maybe 2 years from now? And I was like trying to get to $500,000 for that year, which we passed $500,000 for that year in 05. I said, do you think 2 years from now, like next year I'll do 750, then I'll do $1 million? And he looks at me and he goes, why? Like, why would it take 2 years? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I have to like build the layers. He goes, $1 million is not that hard to do. He's like, if you know what it takes to get there, if you have the numbers broken down, and if you take the actions to create what you need to create. And I was just like, okay. And so he broke it down and he goes, what is your productivity? Okay, how many reps do you need? Okay, what do we need? And we worked the numbers backwards so that I knew what I needed to drive, what I needed to do to create those results. And by the way, that next year, we were the first office in company history to sell $1 million in our division's history in South Florida. And it was so exciting, and really things just took off from there. But it was just learning, and those people taught me, like, Kat, you're working all these hours and you think that you're being productive, all right? But you're not. You're just staying busy, and you're doing things that aren't creating the result that you want. You know, and even for us right now, what am I doing at all times? I'm like piecing a rep, I'm setting PRs, or I'm running training if I'm not working with the division. Cool? Like, that's it. I'm not doing any, I'm like, I need to set PRs, okay? I need to make sure I set my PRs for the day. I'll stop my divisional stuff to make sure I hit my PR number, and then I'll go back to my divisional stuff. I've got to hit my PR number every day. Even as a DBM, overseeing 23 offices, having a husband, having another company, everything that's going on, I want to sell $1 million this summer, all right? So I've got to make sure that I don't just get busy with all things that need to happen, an organization and this and that, and ordering it, but I stay productive with what's going to move the needle. Number 4, they make logical, informed decisions. They make logical, informed decisions. So, by the way, if you're not sure on something, you're not informed on something, you have Lorena to reach out to. You have your DMs to reach out to. You have myself to reach out to. And I encourage you guys always, your number 1 person of contact is your district manager first. Your number 2 person of contact is Lorena, okay? Lorena, your divisional recruiting manager is me. Cool? The only ones who I'm number 1 are the big 5. Everyone got that? But if you don't reach them, shoot me a message. Hey, Kat, I have a question with this, or this is going on. Like, no problem. And then a couple branches that I talked to that they can reach out to me personally. So number 5, they avoid the trap of trying to make things perfect. Some of you, Barbara, and other people need to put a star next to this, all right? They avoid the trap of trying to make things perfect. It's not all going to be perfect. Actually, if everything's perfect, you're not working properly. You have too much time, all right? It's organized chaos. It's organized chaos. You know, but everything might not be perfect, and if you're trying to do that, you're not spending time on the right things. I'm like, whatever, something I gotta set more PRs. I gotta do this. That's perfect. Setting your PRs per day. You know, I talked to Lloyd the other day, and he's like, is everyone setting their 5 PRs per day? The answer is no, because when we looked up and said, okay, what's happening in the month of May? All right. What's happening in our branch offices, in our district offices, what's going on? So Magnolia wasn't open the first 2 weeks. Week 3, set 4 all week. That's not 5 per day, all right? And initially it might be old PRs. By the way, are you looking in the system from your territory? Some of you guys have IAPs from your territory. Some of you guys have more than others, all right? But if you look in Vector Live, that's what we've been doing since yesterday. That's what we're doing tomorrow. We're blitzing in the pilot, calling no-shows because we're low on PR names, and the app got screwed up, which I'll talk about what we need to do this week because the app was screwed up, by the way. Had a glitch yesterday nationwide, kind of screwed us all, but I'll walk through that with you guys, okay? But so we're going to be calling no-shows tomorrow. All staff from last summer, from spring, from summer before. When we were talking to Ashley yesterday when we were saying, okay, what can we do right now to create more touches? And we were talking about right now, Gordon's office, there's a chair for you in the back, Cody. Right now, Gordon's office is because Ashley sat down to call no-shows from 2 summers ago, all right, and got Roman in, and Roman came in, and from there, we got, he sold some last summer and then left, and we were able to get him back. And so Gordon's talked to him, worked with him through the spring, getting him involved, getting his PRs into the office, all right, getting the PRs into Jordan's office, getting him trained there and developing those guys and getting, PRs to get stuff rolling. So the next week, Magnolia had 1. This week so far, 0. Huntsville, not open, set 1, 0, 1. That's all week. So this should show at least 25 per week if you're only setting your 5 per day. That's without blitzing, that's without rep driven, that's without anything else. And those of you who want to hit the trip, you want to be setting 80 per week. And I know it's a building process to that, but it's finding a way, even if it's old PRs that you're scheduling that are in the system, to get 5 a day. And as you're getting, by the way, a lot of this is going to be old PRs. All right, getting people in from applications, from flyering, from Facebook, from whatever, and then getting interview PRs. Cool? And it's those interview PRs are going to be most of the people that you're scheduling as you're starting off. And then as you have your training classes, you'll fuel more names in there. All right. Jersey Village, not open, set 6 all week, then set 32. Got at least 5 more a day, but I know there's some staffing there. Week 5 right now, you guys are at 26 so far. And so I know we still have a couple days left in the cycle. Baytown, 0 week 1, 4 week 2, 0 week 3, 4 week 4, 0 week 5. So there's a hole there. PRs aren't being scheduled. Fulshire wasn't open the first 3 weeks, 0 this week, scheduled 1. But again, through interviews, and if we need to go back and role play that, that's a big area of opportunity. If you need videos or things to watch on a collection of names, we're going to guide you guys there to make sure we're where we need to be. Pearland wasn't open until this week, 1 so far this week. So from your interviews tomorrow, we need to be cleaning out and calling old names. C-Stat, only 6 week 1, 30 week 2, 18 week 3, 68 last week, now week 5 at 43, Cody. So we need to make sure all the staff, and that's something for us, we're like, all the staff has to set their 5 a day. We need to make sure we're driving the number home. And if there's a problem, where are the holes? Again, interview PRs, training PRs, old PRs, and then getting people from other sources to get more interview PRs and keep fueling that in there. Old reps, having old reps put Snapchat. I had a receptionist, came by to say hi, and I was like, hey, what are you doing this summer? I'm working at Witch. I was like, that's cool. And then I asked her, I said, yo, would you be down for some extra cash? I said, one of our guys did this, and I showed her the snap and just sent it to all her people and just basically said, hey, my old job has some openings for summer, $16 starting pay, flexible. If you want info, let me know. If you know anyone who wants info, let me know. And we got people from them. I said, anyone who comes in and hits their promo, I'm going to give you $50 cash. Cool? She was like, oh, heck yeah. You know, she sat down and sent out a snap. She doesn't work with us, all right? I have another rep of ours, same thing. She doesn't work with us anymore. And I asked her, hey, would you be willing, would you want to earn some extra cash helping us build the squad? We're looking for some extra help. Cash money for you, super simple, super easy. It'll take you 5 minutes, all right? And then just send the numbers to me. Just tell them, oh, what's your number, and get it over. Richmond, not open. Week 4, only 2. Week 5, only 3, all right? NAC just opened up this week. Beaumont, wasn't open the first 3 weeks. Week 4 set 7. Week 5 set 16. So again, none of these should be under 25. And again, under 25 means we're not even blitzing at all. All right, you're not texting, you're not doing that. So HTX had 10, 10, 9, 37, and then this week 69. And they've got to ramp that number up big time with PRs. And I know Caitlin came in and we're changing some stuff. Sugarland just opened up. Woodlands wasn't open week 1, then 17, 18, 91 last week, and then 69. All right, and it makes a really big impact. Porter 0, and then 8, 8, 30, and this week 25. Nice job, Veronica. Getting your average of 5 per day. What can we do to get that higher? Deer Park just opening up. Corpus 56 week 1. All right, then 63, then 44, then 84, then 114 this week. So Corpus leading the charge there. Northwest Houston, 28, 34, 36, 37, 33. So they're focused on making sure they hit that number. Northeast, 27, 13, 32, 47, and this week they're at 66. I don't know why she didn't put the pilot. I know this past week we were only at about 120, and that's a small number with the staff size that we have. So this week we're driving it to make sure, even without names, how do we get to 250? What are we doing with interviews? What are we doing? And again, like I said, tomorrow we're going to do what College Station did some weeks ago and just clean out all the system and set all old people, all no shows from interviews, no shows from training. We're going to be going, just cleaning it out. All right. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys, but don't try to make it perfect. Just get stuff. And that goes to number 6. They work outside of their comfort zone. You know, some of you guys are scared to ask certain friends if they'll post something. You're scared to ask people to share, your post. You're scared. Like, don't be scared to ask. I put up a post, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw, saying my office wants to break records. I put up a post. Why are you putting up a post? Put up a post and then ask friends to share it, which is something that I was going to do today, is just ask them, hey, would you be willing to share this post? So get it out there. Let people see it to make sure we're getting word out. Number 7, they keep things simple, all right? Keep the most important thing the most important thing. And right now, that's fueling our PR program and making sure the calls are getting done every day, all right? Number 8, they focus on making small, continuous improvements. So each week, are you looking and are you saying, okay, where can I get better? What can I do better? What can I improve on? There's always areas of improvement in our business. So make sure that you're always looking to see where the holes are. That's why I gave you guys that chart. Most of you guys, we went through it, that Wes had made. That's awesome. And it shows you you know, what you, and you'll be like, oh, our PR number was off. Okay, this was off, you know, and finding, and then talking to us and saying, hey, what should I be focused on? If by looking at it, you can't figure it out, we're here to guide you guys and let you know. They measure and track their progress. And again, that's why we had that chart, so you know why. And it's not like, oh, I don't understand why I'm not doing well. And it's like, all right, well, here's what we do to get things started. Here's how you start from scratch. And we can review that with you again to make sure where we need to be and making sure we're tracking. Even in the office, I was like livid the other day, just this week, we haven't been tracking sales how we need to. I'm like, I need reports every single day. Every day, where are we at for the day? What demos do we have ahead? Where are we at for the week? We need to make sure we're tracking that so we can know what we need to drive, conversations that we're having, and what to promote to the team about where we're going. And number 10, they maintain a positive attitude and they learn from mistakes. And guys, you know, this summer's not all going to be perfect. That's for stinking sure. We've had issue after issue after issue here in the pilot office. And we just know that we've got to find a way to just make things happen, you know, and it's really important that we just focus on continuing to just improve and just seeing, you know, what we can fix here, what we can fix there, knowing again that it's not something that's going to be all perfect. And I'll wrap up with 3 things here, and then I'll dive into numbers that I put together on just what it takes to be great. And I think about first is attitude, okay? Attitude. And I think about this summer and you wanting to go out and have a great summer. You can't control what happens to you. I can't control that our mailers, and I freaked out last week, can schedule themselves, and I didn't think about it, for whenever they want. And we're like the best at building urgency. And I'm like, I have training on Monday. I want them to come in and interview Saturday and Sunday, and they're scheduling themselves for next week. And I'm like, you know, and it's like, it is what it is. I can't control that. I can't control that now. So what I could control is, I said, I'm going to run more trainings per week, you know? So I'm more efficient. I have more people sooner to the time. I have more PR sooner, because I just like, that's something I couldn't control, was the urgency, because I made that decision already to send everything to text to schedule, and I just couldn't change it now. And it's a great program, but I love, like, our girls on the phone are so good at building urgency. So whatever it is, maybe it's, you know, mailers came in, office leases, you know, crap that's happened with the office. We can't control any of that. We're like, all right, what can we do? And so it says here, you can control your attitude towards what happens to you. And in that, you'll be mastering change rather than allowing it to master you. And guys, part of, you know, you can't forget part of the summer, DMs, I think it's important with all of our staff. I think it's important for us, even for myself. I've been looking at this, and branches, that part of the summer is about developing new muscles. Got it? Developing new mental muscles you might have never used before. You know, perseverance, focus. We're going to talk about, you know, different things here, but are you growing? So learning how to have that champions find a way mentality versus like, oh, this sucks, look what happened to me, you know? And that's a mentality a lot of people have, like, woe is me, oh, this stinks, look at the cards I was dealt. Like, no, F that crap. Like, it's time to go out and make some results happen, you know? And that might be a new muscle you've never used before. Maybe you've been a person who sat back and you're like, damn, that sucks. All right, versus like, shit, what do I need to do? You know, like, what do I need to do? And so even just gaining that is such a win. You know, it's such a win for the summer. Learning how to problem solve, learning how to come up with solutions. There's a great quote from Napoleon Hill. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results. Just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat, you know? And think about that for yourself. Where's your level of desire to succeed this summer, to gain as much as you can from the summer, to benefit financially? Branches, we're a month away from you guys making straight 50% commissions, you know? Are you coaching? Are you teaching? Are you growing your crew so you can go out there and absolutely dominate with them and really maximize your financial opportunity? Number 2 is dreams and goals. Again, I talked about this earlier. Lloyd talked about this on Tuesday on our call, you know, but you can't forget the difference. You know, people, a dream, and I heard this one, is like a visionary creation of the imagination. A goal is the end toward which effort is directed. And so do you have a goal where you're working towards, you're like, oh, it would be nice, or do you have a definite place where you want to go? And I know we've said this, and I have it in all different slideshows, but you can't forget, you know, if it was easy, everyone would do it. If it was easy, everybody would sell 250K this summer. Everybody would have 10, 15, 20 reps launching out each week. Everybody would have the huge sales reports, all right? But it's not easy, and you have to overcome a lot of things mentally. Sales is a mental business. One of the best training you can get for life, all right? For being a great parent, for being a great spouse, for being a great business leader, for being great in your community, church, organization. Like when you know how to manage mentally, like emotions, when stuff comes to you, and I think about like my pastor in my church was so great at this. They're like, this happened, and he's just like, okay, and he's like, all right, what do we need to do? And it was like ready to make, figure out the solutions, and for you guys, can you be a duck on water? Who's heard that expression before? Duck on water. It's like half the room. So think about a duck on water, right? They're just like gliding. But what's happening under the water? All right. So be a duck on water. Like it's all right. All right. Let's go. This is done. All right. You never heard that?
No.
Oh yeah. So. It's huge. All right. So anyway, goals, goals and dreams. And number 3 is perseverance. And these are 3 things I've just always seen that the most that really helps people achieve at the highest level are these right here. So like, where's their mentality? Do they have specific goals they're working for, and knowing that it's not going to be easy, and are they going to persevere? Okay, and that's number 3. I get asked to speak all the time for years, for over a decade. I've given so many freaking talks to divisions, to regions, on conference calls at SLC, on like find a way mentality, whatever. And it's just like, look, if I have a goal, I'm getting there. It doesn't look like this. It's never looked like this, okay? It looks like that, or it actually looks more like, have you guys seen the one that it's like all the scribble? All right, it's like what people think success looks like, and it's like an arrow, and then there's the one with all the scribbles. That's more what mine looks like, or it's not even this nice. But the fact is, you're just like, all right, whatever. Like, I got to reroute, like I've got to go somewhere, like I've got to go a different way, and we're going to find how to get there. And so there's 3 keys. And this is the last thing to understanding perseverance, all right? Number 1 is understanding challenges. They're going to happen. It's part of the process. Again, don't look at them as stumbling blocks. Look at them as stepping stones, right? Are you stepping to where you need to get to? Are you strengthening yourself? It's about staying committed, all right? Perseverance is staying committed. I said I was going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to find a way to make it as best as I can. Cool? And whatever that may be. Like I want you to be standing, by the way, a month from now, when we are on the 28th, all right, on Wednesday, the 28th of June at SC1, and we're doing the awards, and we're getting ready for limo night that night. I want you to stand there and be like, you know what? I gave my damn best this month. I gave my damn best. I don't give a shit what's happened so far. Cool? Fact. Everyone in here has not given their best so far. Can you all agree on that? All right? Yep. That's a fact. There's a couple, they've worked really hard. I say Corpus has worked really hard. Pilot has not given the best we can. So I think Corpus is literally the exception, and Gordon. Those are the only 2 that I'd say are an exception, all right? The other 21 offices have not given their best. We have not given our best. CSAT has not given their best. You guys have not given your best, and it's okay. We can't change it, but what we can do is commit today to go, all right, let's get ready. Let's get ready to freaking dominate, and let's give 110% effort. 1 month. We have 1 month, and we're going to be celebrating SC1. Cool? And really and feel good that we did do that. And the last thing I put is perseverance is a habit. Once you build it, it's just what you do. Crap pops up, and you're like, let's roll, all right? You just go, and you make it happen. It just becomes something that you do. So I'm excited for this summer. Oh, that's my let's do it slide. It's one of my favorites. All right? I'm excited for this meeting. If you didn't get a chance to check the agenda, we've got a power-packed agenda, and I want to just walk through some numbers, some stats with you guys. And I sat down and started looking at different offices, and I got, checked different, talked to Mike Muriel, I talked to Jeff Gamboa. I was trying to find Muriel's old stuff, so oh my gosh, I remember that summer. I remember what happened. It was freaking crazy. And I just started looking at things, all right? And as we looked at reports, as we looked at what happened in these offices, and I wanna show you guys just different reports that I saw here. Some are branch, some are district, but just different starts, slower starts to the summer, and just where they ended up, at different reports. But even with Muriel's summer, and I was talking to him earlier, and he's like, Vector Live has it. I'm like, I can't find it. Again, his pilot from that summer, as soon as he finishes training, because he is he's an actual district manager he is going to, call in over to us. Let me put this so you guys can see my screen, even though it's crazy. Displays. Boom, boom. So I want to share this with you guys. Everyone, can you guys see it all? All right. So I'll make it larger. Don't you worry. So this was a branch office that was closed, open, sold $700, $1,500, then 5K, 4K, 5K. So I look at this, John Austin, it looks like very similar start to you. And they didn't even pop big for SC1, but they did a solid job with SC2, but they kept consistent. They kept growing, and they just stayed consistent week in, week out. They averaged about 12, 13K a week, all the way through. Popped some 20K weeks with SC2, and then finished off the summer, $181,000 summer, all right? By the way, that crushes my branch summer by like $40,000 or 30 something. So I looked at that. Then there was, all these, this started off, and this was a district office. 2,800, 4,200, 3,100, 7K, and then this week, which we have till Tuesday, popped an 11K week. Had a solid SC1 push and just kept that momentum. Didn't really pop bigger for SC2, but just kept that momentum. $327,000 in new business, and this is all new business reports. All right. Then this was another branch office that opened and just consistent, and never had any crazy pops, but just kept building, through this time. And had, $169,000. Like, that's a heck of a summer, and you are in Germany with us, all right? These were, this was a $400,000 summer. This was a branch that went out, that had branched before and went out again. 0 week 1, 1,700 week 2, 2K week 3, 8K week 4. This week, Memorial Day week, launched 17, popped a big SC1, and they crushed June and July. Finished up strong, all right? They had a good CFC, and ended up at $400,000 in new business for the summer, okay? I think there's some district managers who'd be pretty fired up about these results, all right? But absolutely crushed it as they went into this month. And it was just like that, decision making. This right here, different reports to 37K, which Gordon, you guys are out of 37K. I think what are you guys gonna end up at for May?
We're already past 50.
So I was projecting probably in the 60K range by Tuesday night. But these guys have already increased this by 50%. And you look at this report, this is a $526,000 new business, okay? And they just went 3K, 4K, 4K, 87, and then this week popped 15.8. But then boom, crushed it here, and really finished strong, all right? And made that decision to really finish strong. This year, first 2 weeks, they weren't open. So closed, and these were 2 different summers, the same manager. So they didn't even open until week 3. So this was a branch manager, branch 1 and branch 2, cool? So they opened week 3, it's 2 of their branch summers. So the first branch summer, 2K, then 7K, then 11, and then just kept that momentum, like no big pops, kept that momentum, boom, $156,000 summer, fantastic. Fantastic summer, won the trip, boom. Next summer, all right, one of the top, 2,200, 8,000, 17,000, kept going, and then really did pop for SC2. So built that momentum during SC1 and popped it during SC2, finished up with $275,000. This right here, all right, wins the trip. 0, 0, 0, 0, 3,900. Cool. That looks like where you're at. All right. And then 1,300 actually dipped on week 1, which we're not going to do that. Went to 5K. So nothing huge here. But then what happened? SC1 happened. 13K, 12K, then kept that momentum, 14K, 15K, and it built into SC2, had a 40 or 50K SC2, finished the summer strong, $130,000, cool? And so I love this one. When I saw this, I was like, I feel like there's a good handful of you guys who are right in this bracket, because even if you were at 0 for week 5, which I think there's 2 or 3 of you guys who might be at 0 or like 1,000 for week 5, which ends on Tuesday, you can beat 1,300 on June week 1. You can make those larger, and by promoting a big SC1, and I'm going to show you guys, like, this push is a recruiting push, and if you really do it the right way, what can happen? Like, SC1 has always been known as a recruiting push, by the way. For those who got in, what I mean by that is the push is created by what? The recruits from those weeks, like the fast start business from those weeks. Every district manager knows that SC1 is the recruiting push, all right? Those who got ahead and got a team before, you got ahead. Cool? Just so you know. But it's a recruiting push. Our best recruits are coming in the next 2 weeks, all right? What's happening right now and next week?
Drops.
High school graduations. And by the way, your mailers are dropping next week for high school. It's the highest response mailer. I need you guys ready to go. Those are coming in 2 weeks or a week. They drop. They get sent next week. Some of you guys might get them next week, but the week after is when they're going to start applying. Cool? So first week of June, like June 5th, 6th, that's when they're applying. So being ready to dominate when those high school seniors, current graduates come in. But anyway, we hit that properly. It gets real exciting. And those are some of your easiest people to PR the heck out of, okay? And they're super excited to build the team. And the more excited you are and the more vision you create, the more pumped they are. And again, whatever, you guys see the point here. And I was looking through a lot of reports and just seeing so many different examples of, smaller starts to really strong finishes. And it really excited me for, again, what's about to go down, all right? I want to show you guys a couple things here I put together. And if you guys can actually all go in your email, I sent you in your email, I made it smaller, this right here, this zip file that you want to open. And this zip file has a lot of good stuff, all right? And I want to open this up here so you guys can see here. So this right here, first thing is 40 demos to 10K. This is for your reps to track a 10K push, cool? So they can track everything on there. Another thing that I have on here, the events promotion. So by the way, this is something, and I want to read it to you guys. I want you guys to check this out because your reps, whoever comes this Wednesday, and DMs, if you want to start putting together your projections, you guys have bigger teams and people you can scoop back up. One of the things that I want to make sure we're doing, was there a paper there, Cody, when you sat down?
Yeah.
Can I have it? Can we pass it up? Is writing down who are all the people. Yeah, just pass that up. Yeah, I left my notes in the car. I know what I'm saying with that. All right. So, ask someone to forward. It's an email. All right. So this, I'm putting it up here, and you guys can look at it up here, and you can grab it from each other. So we need to get projections. What is your alliance? Who are you going to have for alliance? What is your SC1 push at currently? So DMs, I need that from you guys. And then you two, John Austin and Jacob, will already have teams in place. You guys can also start putting together your projections for the push. Everyone else, it's whatever 1 or 2 reps you have right now. But again, this is a recruiting push, and we're going to talk about that. So let me share this with you guys. When you guys are talking to your people now in June about what's going down, all right, this is what your people are going to hear on Wednesday, and you guys can be repeating some of this stuff in your interviews, in your training. You guys can incorporate this into your opening comments next week, some of this information, and sharing it, because I want every single rep that comes to GCK in the next 3 weeks and who's already here to hear this. Got it? And this is about really making sure we're promoting what's happening for the month of June. So team goals, where we're at, where we're going. You know, we need everybody, how every single person's going to fit in. By the way, I talked to my team about this. There's different roles. We have role players, okay? They play a role on the team. What do these people do? Role players do 1 to 5 demos a week. That's it, all right? And we thank them so much for the role that they play in our organization. And so do people know that that is okay? By the way, we had a kid come in to quit on Wednesday, and I talked to him about this. And he goes, yeah, I don't have time. I've got this and that, whatever. And I said, do you like the job? That was my first question to him. Do you actually enjoy the job, Dan? Why did I ask him that? Because if he doesn't like the job, then see you later, bye. I'm not going to waste my time. Some people tell you they're busy and whatever, but they just don't want to do the job. And you sit there for 30 minutes trying to convince them why they should do the job. And they're like, dude, seriously, I just don't want to do the job, all right? And it's like, get the hell out of here. I don't want to waste my time, all right? So the first thing I want to know is, do they actually like the job? And I was like, Dan, can we have a heart, just very real question? Can I have a very real answer? I'm like, do you like the job? Do you enjoy the job, or do you not want to do the job? And he goes, no, it's not that. I like the job. He's like, I'm just busy. I have this, I have this, I have that. I go, all right, cool. I go, the reason I ask is if you don't like the job, I'm not going to sit here and convince you to do the job. I go, I think it's the most amazing job. It teaches you so much. You learn so much. You grow so much. But, if you don't like it, you're going to be miserable. There's no point in you doing it. I go, but if you like the job, I go, I'm not sure that you're aware, there's different roles on the team. we have role players, Dan, and I think that, for you, like, could you do 2 or 3 demos a week? He's like, well, I just don't know my schedule because I'm on call. And I said, let me ask you this. You went to church, or if you had a school or something, could you tell the other job, hey, this one night a week, I'm not available. I'm available during the day. I'm available the other 6 days, all day, any day, anytime, But hey, just Tuesday nights after 6, I'm not open. Is that something that you can do? I'm like, I'm sure it's fine. People do that all the time because they have church or night school or something. I go, would you be willing? I go, what's the least busiest night? Is it weekends or weekdays? He goes, oh, weekdays. Weekends are really busy. I go, okay, cool. Then why don't you ask them, hey, Tuesday nights, I can be on schedule till 5. After 6, I'm busy on Tuesday nights. Any other time, I'm on call, no problem. All right. And just tell him that. I said, so that way you can do 2 or 3 demos on Tuesday nights. You don't have to worry about rescheduling. Because he's like, I don't want to reschedule with people. I was like, if something comes up, just reschedule, dude. He's like, I don't want to do that. Fine. And I said, so how about if you gave them one night that you're not? And he goes, okay. I was like, hey, dude. And I was just throwing out options. And he was still kind of just sitting there. And I said, look, we'd love to have you. I go, but really, this is more for you than for us. I go, we're going to be okay without your 1 or 2 demos. I go, this job, it's not a regular job. It's like school. And I would jot this down. And I told him, like, it's like school. I go, it's business school. I said, so you're taking classes for your mechanical stuff. You're taking this. You're working this job, right? And my recording's about to shut down. Can I have that charger, please, 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 like immediately? Come on. Yes. It was like 1%. It's like, and we're dead. All right. No. Why is it not charging? What's going on? Oh, shoot. It's disconnected. All right. This thing. Sorry. Okay, so he's looking at me, and then he goes, I go, is that? And then finally he goes, and I told him, I said, so we have our role players, and then I said, then we have team players. Team players typically do like 5 to 7, 5 to 7 demos a week. Sometimes they might even do 10, but 5 to 7 demos a week. That's a team player. I go, they usually turn in like 2 orders, right? 2, 3 orders, and they're selling $500 plus. Cool. That's what our team players will do. I said, and then we have our part-timers and our full-timers. Cool. Our like part-time workers typically do 10 to 15 demos a week. And these individuals usually sell $1,000 or 2 or 3, and they're making some pretty great income, like full-time income working part-time. They're earning $300 to $500 or more per week working part-time. I go, and then we have our full-time dudes, 20 plus appointments. These guys are, selling $4,000 to $6,000 a week. They're making $1,000 paychecks week in, week out, week in. And I go, and of course there's the all-stars. I mean, these guys are just grinding, Chavez, different people that like just, they rock 30, 35 demos a week. And these guys, their goal is to sell like 10 grand plus a week. And you're going to see those reports. Now, by the way, is everyone going to play that role? No. And by the way, is everybody on a team important? Yes. Like think about any team, any organization, everyone's not going to be the quarterback. Everyone's not going to be on the starting lineup, but everybody matters, okay? And I go, so if you like the job, I would still love to have you, even if it's just 1 or 2 demos a week. I go, because every person matters and it would be awesome to have you. And I know you're going to learn so much, and he was like, all right, cool. But again, just talking about like, this is like school, yada, yada, all those things. By the way, he booked 4 demos during the team meeting. He stayed, made calls, and he had his first sale that night. All right. And he's like really excited to work like really part-time, at least for now. I think he sold something else actually this weekend. But are you guys talking to people and making sure they know this isn't a normal job? It's business school. You're learning how to sell yourself. You're learning how to connect. You're learning how to build rapport. If you're lucky, you have a chance to advance and learn, how to lead others, right? How to manage a team. You can learn about that in a management internship. You can even learn how to start up your own company and run a branch office and learn the startup. Is startup life easy? Heck no, all right? It's not easy. All right, you go through ups and downs. All right, I'm in it with Elevated right now while you guys are in it in your branch. All right, we've got some good things cooking now. I'm like, all right, but it's like, it's up and down. Like when you're starting up a new company, all right, there's things that come up, there's unexpected things, and you just need to take care of them. So anyway, making sure that you guys are talking to your reps that everybody has a place where they fit and for them to find their fit and own it, cool? And feel great about it. Make them feel great about it. So here, individual success. Future leaders are chosen in June. Assistant managers for this fall, for next summer. Future top reps earning 30%, 40%, 50%, talking about that. You know, this year, and I sent this, by the way, to our team, just so you guys can see this. If you didn't, I copied most of you guys on it, but this was sent to the guys who came to the SLDM. And in here, I don't know how to zoom it in more. Oh, there we go. I got a little zoomage. All right. But in here, I told them, and by the way, this was before I even saw the reports. And then I was like, hell yeah. All right. I wrote this before the reports came out on Friday. And look what it says. Our goal is to have 20% of the nation's scholarship winners from GCK. Did anyone see the reports this week? 9 out of 50, by the way, are from GCK right now. And we will have more, all right? When I was looking at those reports, I was like, dude, I think I can have 5 for my office. And I was like, all right, what do I need to do? Who do we need to focus on, you know? But this is my goal, and we're going to make it happen. So for us, for this summer, our goals for our division have over 100 representatives hit Dirty 30. Right now in your head, how many are you going to have? Are you going to develop 2? Is it going to be 3? Is it going to be 5? Is it going to be 10? DMs? Pick a number and get excited about it and say, hey, my goal is to develop 10 people to Dirty 30 this summer, and count it down. Cool? My goal in the pilot is to develop at least 20 people to hit, 25 people to hit 10K. 20 people to sell over 15K, and to have at least 10 people that I help develop over $20,000. Okay, so pick numbers that you're excited about developing people, and I want to have 5 brand new people, by the way, that hit 30,000 within their first summer. All right, so you're like, oh, I can do that, you know? It's like, I did that last year with one guy. Well, that's cool. How many more can you develop this summer? So pick a number, get excited about it. But 100 representatives from GCK hitting Dirty 30 from scratch. Cool? Means they started the summer and they hit it this summer. We want to take 10 of the 50 All-American scholarships, as I said. And guys, I put here, we're excited for a killer events team. We want to accept 100 to 125 people into Leadership Academy, people who really want to learn how to run a business and producing some of the nation's top earners. I told your reps that came here, I said, hey, this right here is what's up for grabs, all right? We have key staff. Did anyone get asked about key staff yet? All right, raise your hand if you got asked about key staff. So several of your offices, cool. All right, some of you guys came to me afterwards and asked me about it. And I said, hey, if you really want to be a leader, ask about key staff. I know, Cody, I talked to Blair about that. I talked to a couple other people. I was like, hey, ask them. I know this next week, and by the way, we want the whole division this next week to start running key staff, even if key staff is U+1. Cool? U+1. You go to breakfast with them. This is your starting lineup. This is your key person, all right? So spend a little bit of time with them. But every week, get time with them. And we have different topics and stuff for key staff that you guys have in your summer folder, all right? And if you don't have the summer folder for whatever reason, please get it before you leave. Cool? We have it here. We can get that to you. Second thing I said, assistant manager opportunities as soon as this summer. Are you guys talking about that with your people? 3, they have All-American Scholarship they can go after. 4, Team Builder Scholarship. They can earn up to $1,000 helping build a squad. Do you guys promote this to your people? This right here. Cool? By the way, I forgot to promote it for the first 4 weeks. I just promoted it this weekend. But not forgetting about Team Builder standings for the Southwest Region Team Builder Scholarship. All right? Then you've got, obviously, the Team Builder Bahamas Cruise. Just so you guys know, I am promoting to everybody 10 people that sell something. Cool? 10 people that sell something, they get to win that. Assistants have other deals, and they can have 5 people that sell 1,000, after they win the DC trip. All right? Then you've got awards and prizes during competitions that they can win. Events team, all right? Are you guys talking about, I'm talking about events team at every single thing that we have this year. I want 50 people at the events training. So every event, I'm talking about the events team. So who's going to get on events team? Learn to sell at the booth from the best in the business. That is a phenomenal way to improve your skill sets and put more money in your pocket. Number 8, branch, entrepreneurship internship. Run your own summer business. Number 9, district manager. Who's talked about district manager in their interviews or training yet? Raise your hand if you've talked about it. Cool? I'm talking about that in my training. I'm like, hey, and you can tell everyone, we're looking to fill 5 locations this fall. Nacogdoches, Beaumont, Deer Park, Pearland, and Sugarland. We're looking to fill 5 locations this fall as permanent year-round offices. So if we have a stud, I met, oh my gosh, what office was he from? I have to look at my list. But one of the guys that was here that was like in his mid-20s and is looking for something to advance it, and if you've got the right person who's sharp, they got it, it's like, how a business runs, like, We want to talk to people about that. That's not going to be everybody, and that's not going to be someone who's 17 or 18 in my eyes, all right? But if I have a professional, I have three guys right now in their 30s in my team, okay? And I'm like, hey, these guys are professionals. They've ran businesses. 2 of them were in the military, and they're just like, I like teaching. I like growing people. If that's something they're excited to do, we're going to talk more. But I'm just letting them know, hey, we have careers with district manager. If you like teaching, coaching, you're in charge of recruiting, training, and managing. Cool? Second thing is we have Cutco Sales Professional. And this is a sales career opportunity. So for you guys, are you making sure everybody knows what's available? All right, Carmen, go jump on the damn thing and have one of these, please. All right. So are you making sure that everyone knows we have district opportunities as soon as this fall? We have Cutco Sales Professionals. We're looking for people who want to do realtor, who want to do closing gifts, who want to do events. By the way, during that meeting, I had Daniel Langlois come to me and say, I want to be a realtor rep. I want to get involved. What do I need to do? I said, cool. I connected him with Wade Hoffer to talk about teams because he wanted to be on someone's team, and Wade Hoffer had asked about that. So we connected him for a conversation about teams. I had one of our old reps from Northwest, or actually from Sugar Land, who came in and is working in Northwest now. And when he came in, after I talked about all this, he's like, I want to be on the events team. What do I need to do? I connected him with Jonathan. All right. So again, unless people know what's available, they're not going to ask about it. So it's important for us as leaders that we're talking. And I sent this in the email. I said, how do you get there? Always be learning, get around the best people, and ask. All right. Make sure they're asking. So action steps, master the fundamentals. And so this is something that I sent to your guys. Get involved. Take advantage of meeting people that, any meetings that you're invited to. Get on key staff. Ask your manager what you need to do. Work hard and interview and work hard to get in the Playoffs Alliance. We're going to talk about that. Having people, interview, get a one-on-one with you to see if they have what it takes to be part of the starting lineup. And then get word out to your friends that we're looking for extra hands on deck. I put here 3 friends qualifies you for team builder competition and prizes. 5 friends equals massage or concert tickets. 10, you're coming cruising, all right? Ask your manager to help get you on the cruise. We can get you there. And then I promoted our division-wide team meeting this Wednesday at City Center. Cool? I gave them all of the documents that we covered at the event. I gave them the AT1 packet. You guys are supposed to be giving them an AT1 that I created, AT2 packet that they're also supposed to receive. So I attached those for them, and I gave them the SLDM packet, all right? If you guys look here, there are some mail delivery issues. Some of your people might not have gotten it. So just make sure anyone who went to the SLDM, did they ever open that email? Did they get it? And if not, make sure to forward it to them so they have all those documents because that's definitely going to help them in success, all right? So I want to make sure we're set up there. We have so talking about all things that are available, make a name for yourself, financial freedom, confidence in sales, momentum for July. The best reps step up in June. The summer starts now. Talking about higher commission levels. For those of you who have teams, your guys are at their highest point now. More reasons than ever to crush it. Making sure they're getting to 20, 25%, 30%, or getting into bonus land. How far can they get before July? So working hard in June makes your July even better, and August a breeze. Work part-time second half of the summer and earn full-time income, or work full-time and make bank. That's what I always talk about. And talking about reps from last summer, giving examples, which I'll talk about. Playoffs are coming up. Do all your people know that? Every interview, every training, they need to know. 2-week sales competition, all right, that starts on, actually those are 1 day off, June 13th to June 28th, all right, but 2 weeks, entire company competes against each other. Only times in the summer where everyone gathers divisionally for SC1 and SC2, summer conference closing ceremonies where you get to compete and be recognized. Why push? Talking about redemption from Fast Start, competition. This goes through all the details, trophy competition, team competition, income opportunity, talking about earning money, hyper growth, advancement opportunities, personal and professional skills, talk about dates for the push. Why are we talking about push now? Takes preparation, mental and physical. Talk about the alliance. By the way, we want everyone to pick one. 3K, 6K, 10K. What's the difference? 3K, they're committing to 2 morning workshops a week. Cool? If they're on the 6K, they're committing to 3 morning workshops a week. And then 10K Alliance, they're committing to 5 or more morning workshops, which we have 6 happening per week. But ideally, they're coming every day. And that's what I tell them. I'm like, hey, you're committing to at least 5, but I'd love to have you here every day. Then you have Talking about 10-week push competition, limo contest, limo night, all of that, what it takes to go big for the push right now, hitting the newsletter, making sure they're preparing their list, making sure they're making calls leading up to it. So I put all the call days and times, committing to their schedule, clearing their schedule. Again, all the details are typed in here. I'm not going to read all of that. You guys got this in your email. City Center kicks off our division meeting, divisional team meeting. This is a division meeting on June 12th. All right, so I will finish up. I'm solidifying speakers for that this week, and I will have that out because I will be giving the actual agenda and speakers on Wednesday. Cool. So at the divisional team meeting, I will announce who will be speaking at our playoffs kickoff. Right now, I know Justin Ledford will be speaking. I know Mike Lanzetta will be speaking. Cool. So we're getting everyone locked in. So we have a really powerful playoffs kickoff, and we're ready to freaking tear it up. Put it in their schedule now. All right. We want to make sure they request time off. They have another job. Make sure they take off. By the way, I had one of my kids yesterday. For a week just to train, and he lives over there. And I was talking to him, and he went to Stratford. He's one of Chavez's PRs, and he was like, "Hey, something. I'm leaving next week." I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Well, I still have my jobs there, so I'm back and forth." I was like, "No." He goes, "Don't worry. I already put the dates. June 12th. I will be there. I'm home for 2 weeks. I'm staying at my parents' house during the playoffs. Then I'm going to go back over to San Marcos, get ready, see my girlfriend, and come back for Super Bowl." He goes, "Don't worry. I already told him I'm going to be here for playoffs and Super Bowl." I started laughing, but he has they have the agenda. When they came to the division meeting, and again, I emailed it out just so you guys are aware, they received this packet. And if you guys want one, so you have a paper packet, I can give this, or I'll just pass it around. You guys can grab one. All right, whoever wants one. But they got this packet, and in this packet on the front, it has all the dates. So when he was there, he put, by the way, which was awesome. I just went through it, and he put them all on his calendar, told his girlfriend already, "Hey, I'm going to be in Houston for these 2 weeks, and these 2 weeks, I got to tear it up for the playoffs and the Super Bowl," So they have this packet to utilize, and I walked them through different things there so you guys can see it. So make sure they get time off from their meetings. Make sure they know they can carpool. We're going to have Arrive with 5 contests, and then it has here Summer Conference 1, and just talking about, and this is big. I talked to John Austin about this the other day, all right? And when you're promoting the event and how it's designed, like, you've got to really build up these things. I know we talked about this in my house like a month ago, but are you talking about, it is the largest event of the year so far. You need everybody at SC1, and talking about how the energy is electric. It's the most memorable event. You get a chance to meet all these Hall of Fame reps, giving you like skill sets that people pay like $250 an hour or more to learn from them. And you're going to have them teaching you for free. Okay. So take advantage of that. And actually, whatever, you get paid money. So it's free, but it's not, but we'll go through that here. So the resume builder, attending, the attendance for a professional sales conference from a $250 million, a year marketing corporation, how it's designed for their future, talking about trophy competition, recognizing the leaders, high level sales skills, July, August planning, incredible motivation, life skills, meeting, all that. Everyone goes. So here, it's like, would you rather be selling? No way. There's no demo you can't do later. The more you learn, the more you earn. We would not take 100% of our best reps out of the field if we didn't know it was beneficial to them. Cool? So making sure you're really talking about that, because at these meetings, they're going to get fired. They're going to get amazing content, all right? And they're going to be more laser focused. They're going to meet people from all 23 offices and be like, oh, heck yeah, build relationships and be excited about going after it in July. So that June 28th meeting is such a big thing for them to mix, mingle, and get a chance to come together. If you have something planned, what can they get off of work? Again, you need to let them know now. If they say they can't afford to go, this is something I remember my manager telling me. He's like, Kat, if you can't afford to go, honestly, you can't afford not to go. I'm like, this is going to increase your earnings during the summer. I'm like, just a few demos pays for it, or one nice sale. I'm like, and you could pre-sell the Cutco, make money before you even go. All right. I think last year was a Hardy Slicer is what paid for the conference. All right. So Tony Robbins events, I just finished paying off my Tony events yesterday, $20,000. They were 23 grand total. And I just paid those off. It hurt a little bit. I'm like, oh, all right. But they're expensive events, but I'm really excited to pay for that. And that's my school, that's like life mastery. So, the price for the event, they get paid to go. They get product, it covers their profit, so they want to sign up. talking about SC1 stuff, and then guys, making sure you're building up SLDM. Everyone put in your calendars if you don't have it in there. When's my next SLDM? June 6th. Cool. So a week from this Wednesday. Make sure everyone that didn't get to go last time, build it up. It will be at City Center, all right, on June 6th. But making sure that we're getting people there, and they're going to get great stuff from it, all right? And they're going to be more tied in from going to it. The more you build it up, people left. We had a lot of sales pop on Tuesday night, actually, when they left, which was awesome. I saw that in a bunch of the different group meetings. So make sure they're coming with demos after, and they're coming ready to like soak everything in to implement to double, triple their sales. I always talk about how Babaran had 5 demos after. By the way, on those 5 demos combined, he sold over 5K. All right, so it was pretty awesome. He like dropped different sets, but sold over $5,000 on his next 5 demos once he went to SLDM. Didn't you sell like right after like $1,000 plus or $1,200? So making sure, so Marissa, someone that right after her next sale popped over a grand order, but sharing that with people. Cool. So they're going to see that. We're going to use that in opening comments. So you guys have that in the folder. You also have how to plan a big push period. We're going to talk about that later for you guys, and how, again, it's all about, you know, there's different chunks of it that CPO comes from different places. All right. Then you have my push week top 50 for your representatives. And then, guys, you have Push PC, Fellman's Push PC, which is really awesome. And I know later we're going to have Cody's going to walk through PC he runs, and you have that. And then, guys, this is a SC1 pledge for them saying that they are committed, all right, serious about reaching their goals. They're willing to undergo, you know, some temporary pleasures to reach their goals, grow personally, right mental attitude, persistence, commitment. I will not quit on my team, my manager, most importantly on myself. And they're committed to being on the starting lineup. And they sign it, and then they put their goals there. What's their goal to sell? What's their goal for growth, personally, recommendations, whatever it is, putting those on there. So you guys have those all there put together. Sounds good? All right?
Yeah.
So I want to get a couple numbers and things from you guys. And then Mary Lou, make sure Mary Lou's ready to go in like 15, 20 minutes. All right? So a couple things. These are very important. Matt, you need to get this for Cody. You need to get this for Jacob. We had some screw-ups with Conveyor this past week. I got an email from National. They like did an update with whatever on Friday, and it just caused names not to go through the system. All right.
I had an issue with the last training class where they were like only half their contacts.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. The whole nation did.
Okay.
So PR app users, all right? So we all know this. They texted me on Friday when we were like, where the hell are all our PRs? And we had 20 in the system out of over 1,000. So listen up. This happened to the whole nation. I was talking to Ashley Gallo as we were doing it because we just have a call. We're like, ah! All right, but here's what happened. So there was a bug. It caused contacts not to be uploaded. So reps keep hitting the loading screen, and the app doesn't go to the next screen. So it affected iPhone users, not all. Android version, they fixed it, so that one's working. But they're fixing that. So this is what, if this happened to your reps, this is what needs to happen, guys. One, you need to have them use the old PR app. So just Vector Marketing, you know, Vector Personal Recruit, and do the blue background, white logo, all right? And I believe I emailed this to you guys. If not, I can send it again. But so you have it. Number 2, get verbal approval, showing the screenshot. So show them what the screenshot looks like and say, hey, I want to make sure your friends know that you actually recommended them. We're going to use technology to create an image that looks like it. Are you okay with us doing that? I'm like, all right, cool. No one has said no. But you just want to make sure you get a verbal agreement. And so they know what the people are going to get too. So they're not like, what the hell? Like, I didn't send that text to you. Does that make sense? All right. So yeah, so make sure that's that. And then step 3, you know, same thing, manage duplicates, check the names. All right. Screenshots will still be sent. Text will operate as normal. All right, we just have to send those in. So they said we need to do that, and they're going to take care of it, and they just apologize over and over and over for screwing that up. All right. So anyway, they're gonna take care of that. So just so you guys know and are aware of that, that's happening. So I went through and I wanted to know, like last week, I don't know if you guys saw the email, and Drew Frank, like, and the team last week crushed it. You know, the PR app sent everything in. They had, you know, it sets itself. And from the 17 they launched last week, they had 10 of those PRs in training this week, all right? And this was something I called Ashley, and I talked to Ashley, and so this is what they're doing. And Caitlin, just so you know, so we all know what's happening in the system. So one, we're doing the PR talk as normal, okay? Absolutely normal. And then you want to make sure that we're explaining, and this is what, let me see here, Mike. This is what we had been sent before from that Eric had, right? That Eric was using as well. So they went through, and when I talked to them earlier, they're like, yeah, it's real simple. Like literally exact same PR talk, all right? And once you, and so, but this is the difference, because I saw it like backfire in our office this week, and I was like, wait, we didn't get through all of it. One, you want to use the PowerPoint, okay? And so what they told me is they tried to do it one step at a time at their office this week, totally backfired. Everyone's in different places. So what Ashley said is we're doing the regular PR talk and then explaining all the slides, the whole thing. And then, okay, go, all right? So that has made a very big difference in it being smooth and them actually doing it properly, okay? So, hey guys, PR, so we do la 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 la, here's PR talk, cool? So guys, we have an app to make it super easy for you guys, all right? That way we can get word out the easiest and the quickest. And this right here is what it looks like. So first, you know, whatever, we'll download it here in a second. You want everyone just to see what it'll look like. So this is what it'll look like. So when it's Team Builder, it's a little white app like that, all right? So you'll be downloading that app. Once the screen comes up, it'll have you put your vector ID, it'll have you put your first name, your last name, and it'll let you log in. Once you've done that, the app will have you put in your area code, all right? So that way you have it. It says, all right, cool. Help them find work. Let the intros begin. Then it's going to say Team Builder would like to access your contacts. You're going to click OK. All right, so now your contacts are going to be uploaded. And what you want to do, if there's anyone like grandma or whatever that we're not going to send this text to, you just click them and it unselects them. All right, so you unselect them. So they'll all be uploaded, and you can just select anyone that, you know, it's your parents, your family, your 12-year-old sister. You know, we're not gonna send them a message. So you can deselect those. You're also able to edit their name, by the way. So if you have like, I don't know, Sugar Mama Lovin' saved as one of your contacts, I don't want to text Sugar Mama Lovin', what's up? You know, so you can change it and put Angie or whatever, you know, the name is, all right? So that's big. So yeah, so you can edit. So that's what I was talking about. Like you can edit contacts, all right? So it does let you edit in the app. So that way you guys can make sure to give us the proper name to text it. All right, once you've selected everything, it'll tell you, all right, next, all right, so now you submit them, and it'll say, thank you. You selected 818 names. By the way, this is another big thing because they did this like this on purpose to plant seeds of lots of names. And we got hurt, we hadn't been even using the slides, and they were collecting 157 names per person, per head, you know? And even what's great with it, when we submit all those people, if they're in other offices, we're getting credit. We're getting 5% override if they get selected over there. So we want to utilize this. So I'm back to training class. So guys, then it'll say, thank you. You've selected 818 names, you know, however many you submit, you know, 89% of your total contacts. Again, there's some like grandma, mom, whatever. We don't want you submitting those, but anyone over 18, we can text and let them know about it. Then, guys, once you submit those, it'll say create an introduction. All right, so we use technology to make it really easy to show that you actually recommended them. All right, so you get to pick one of two messages, all right, that we'll formulate to let them know. You could either say, hey, Kathy, I have someone you should interview. They might be pretty busy, but would definitely check it out, all right? Or you could click, hey, I want to recommend someone to the team. I don't know if they're looking for part-time work, but it's definitely worth interviewing if you have the time. Cool? So pick which one you like, and it'll show you what it looks like, all right? And then you approve message and you send. Everyone good? All right? Once you guys have done that, the next thing is that it'll create, you know, the intros for you. So it'll show you the picture. That's what it's going to look like, all right, that I'm going to send that to them, all right, that you recommended them or you wanted me to meet them, all right? So they're going to get that. Yeah, they're going to get that. That's what we text the team. So it's going to say, like, once they get the text, all right, I'm going to shoot him a text that says, hey, Steven, this is Alice. I work with Mike Monroe, who has some nice things to say about you. Our office has some immediate summer openings, so we asked the team if they knew anyone who would recommend, which is how I got your number. If your schedule's full, you can ignore this, and I apologize for intruding. But if you want to learn more, click the link below for the position description. It's flexible around school, other jobs, the people are fun, and the pay is pretty solid. Cool? And then so they're either going to ignore a 5-second text because they're like, no, I'm not leaving. All right, or they'll click on the link and they'll check it out and they'll apply. All right, and if they apply, guess what? You get credit for it. All right, so that's pretty cool. So that's that there. And then guys, the next thing, once you're done with that, so that's what they're going to get. So you guys know that. Now, if you want me to, I want to know who are your best people. Who do you know that is looking for work? Who do you know that like would be super good at this that I should personally call and be like, hey, like Matt is awesome, like works on our team, or like Matt said you were awesome, captain of this, captain of that, you know, like whoever you would say, like if you had to pick your top 30 or your top 50 out of your 800 people, who are the top ones that you're like, Kat, you should really call these people. They're awesome. All right. And I want to personally contact those people. So the next thing it's going to let you do is a section called Best Intros, all right? So when you go to Best Intros, you can pick who are the ones you want me to personally call and talk to. Sounds good? And I do want to talk to your best people. I don't have time to talk to 800 people, but I can talk to 30 to 50 people. Sounds good? So you're going to walk through, and you might have more than 50, and if I like you, I'll call them. All right. No. But anyone who are really good people that you're like, please contact these individuals, or they're definitely looking for work, you're going to go back through your list and you can star, all right, for special introductions. All right, so you can put a star next to their name. So the star, what that'll tell me is for me to contact them, and I'll personally call them for you. All right, then you go to final step. All right, and it'll allow you to tell me a little bit about them. All right, so especially for your stars, I want to know a little bit about them. That way when I call them, I can be like, oh, she said you're like the football stud, or said like you're the best drama theater person, whatever, like whatever it is, I want to be able to like connect with them and be like, oh yeah, she said you run like a 4-minute mile, or she said you're like the best singer in like all of Cyprus, you know, whatever it is. So you don't have to do this, but for the ones I'm contacting, I love to know a little bit about them. It really helps me build a great relationship when I'm talking to them on the phone. So if you want to take a couple minutes and just tell me something about them, a little bit about them, it lets you tell me more about them. Sounds good? All right. And then guys, once you're done with that, then you're gonna put, you know, submit, all right? And if there's more people you didn't put in the beginning that you wanna put more, you can intro more contacts. If you have some numbers that are on Facebook, you get more numbers on Facebook, or your sister gives you like 10 people that are looking for work, what can you do? Click here, all right? Add an intro, or add whatever, intro manually, all right? So if you wanna change like what the intro looks like or whatever, they can do that too. So those are the steps there. And he's like, all right, so everyone good? Take out your phone, download the app, and then boom. And then they start working on it. Sounds good? And so this was a big difference from just get the app and then trying to walk them through it. Just a totally different result that they had. So that's what we're going to be incorporating this week when I run training this week and, you know, for the next ever. All right. So I called because I knew we weren't getting the results that we wanted. I'm like, dude, they're freaking crushing it. What did they do? And so this is what happened. So what's happening is now when the names come in, they're actually, and again, depending on you and your staffing, new offices, how many names did I tell you to keep no matter what? Your top, how much? Come on, someone. 150. 150 names you keep, the rest sent to conveyor. That way you can text 50 of them Friday, 50 of them Saturday, 50 of them Sunday, you know, talk to them over the phone. All right. So I told you guys keep your top 150. Offices with staffing, what they're doing is they are submitting, they're keeping all stars, and that's who the staff is blitzing on Sunday, is they're blitzing all the stars, and then they're sending the rest to conveyor. Cool? So keeping all the stars, sending the rest to conveyor. That's what they're doing at the Denver pilot right now. And currently, which Ashley was like, it could change, but because they're just testing it. But what they're doing is 2 weeks later, anyone from conveyor they didn't reach, they're just calling them and just doing a call follow-up. Cool? So that's currently what's going down. And I'll keep you guys informed because I'm always looking to see who's kicking ass, who's doing what, to make sure that we're up to date on what's happening. And all rep driven is happening in PCs and then like advanced training or team meeting, like social posts, things like that. But they said actually their major rep driven is all in their PCs. So when they're meeting with someone, they're always checking to see, oh, hey, how many friends do, always end it with, oh, how many friends do we have so far of yours? Where are you at on the board so far? And making sure we're doing that. And that was a great reminder for me, honestly, because when Mary Lou ran this program in 2012, we were so good about that. I mean, every time we finished a PC, it was like, hey, dude, how many friends are you up to? How close are you to that K-bar? How close are you to that K-bar? And it was getting them to 3 because 3 got them the K-bar and 3 also got them into the Team Builder Scholarship now, all right? But it got them another level. So we want to make sure, can you make it your personal mission to have all your reps be qualified to compete for this? Cool? 3 PRs is all that it takes to get that done. So I wanted to share that with you guys because that was really helpful for me from talking to the Denver pilot for my training. So I figured it'd probably be helpful to share with you guys as well. All right. So I'm going to have Mary Lou come up here and speak in a moment. I want to make sure I want you guys to write these projections for me. Okay. So write this down. I'm going to put this on the board and you guys want to be ready to take some mad notes. All right. Do you need the PowerPoint up here, Mary Lou?
No. Oh, you want me to use PowerPoint?
You don't have to. I have it here.
I mean, it's pretty outdated.
All right. All right. Check this out. All right. You guys, what we need is what is your, by the way, you can put this all on one paper because I'm going to collect these. I need from you guys. All right. So put your office name. It's like we're in training. Name and office. All right. And I need from you Wednesday. All right. So this is attendance. All right. So Wednesday. Divisional team meeting. How many? All right, so I need the number. How many are you going to have? So you're like, I will have 5 or more. I will have 2. I will have 1. I will have 20. I will have 30. Whatever it is. So I need Wednesday team meeting. How many are coming? All right, you can do it for your office. Number 2, I need alliance. All right, alliance. I need current number of how many you have that you're like, these people will definitely be on it. And then I want projection. You're like, I feel we'll have 15 or we'll have 20 or whatever. So current and projection number for the alliance. Veterans, I'd like current for you to write the names of the people. All right. And I'd like to know what you see them in sales, 5K, 10K, 20K, 30K. So veterans and those with reps, you have a little bit more work to do during this while she's going over this. But I'd like to know your best projections for your people, what they'll do for their push. So this is the number of people on the alliance, number of projection, and then I'd like a sales projection from this. And everybody, number 3 is SC1 push goal. SC1 push goal. And after you hear Mary Lou go through this talk, and I have a couple words right after, you might change it. So I'm going to collect it right after that before Wasim comes up here. And then, guys, number 4 is SLDM, June 6th. All right, attendance number. All right, attendance number. And I wrote too low, so my last thing, number 5, was division meeting, June 12th. All right, so basically the kickoff. What's your attendance number for that? All right, so this is mostly all attendance. The only thing that sales is the veterans who have current alliance that are going to be on it, what you project them at, and everybody's doing their push goal for sales. All right, so I have that because I need to get that to Mr. Lloyd Reagan. All right, but attendance for the kickoff as well. So if you guys can please work on that. Oh, bonus, if any of you guys do have people right now you can think of that are DMCs, and you're like, these people are out of school or not in school, somebody who really enjoys coaching or teaching, all right, or someone that I should just talk to because they're like out of school or taking a break. I'd love to talk to them to see where's their best fit. Is their best fit going to be on our realtor teams? You know, is their best fit going to be doing events and shows? Are they someone who's wired that loves coaching and teaching, right? Everyone, and that's what they want to do. They rather work with reps and run an office. I want to make sure they know all the different lines because we want to build all these avenues, guys. To build GCK to a $10 million division, we need a killer events team, like rocking year round. We need killer realtor programs shipping $1 million plus every freaking year. And we need district managers who are stoked about recruiting growing and developing other people. Cool? We need all three things. It's like our three-legged stool as we're building this organization. I want to make sure we have those all very strong, because I know when we strengthen all of those three pillars, what's going to happen to GCK and the explosion that we're going to have. All right? So work on these projections. I want to bring up Miss Chengsta, Mary Lou.
Without the A at the end. It's not Changa.
Chengsta. La Pachanga. So Miss Chang, all right, let me change this here. We don't need this anymore. But I asked Mary Lou if she would share, stuff on push. This is a talk I've given many times to different people. She's been around me for many years. SLC, people heard me talk about push, and I asked her to really go through. And you guys want to be ready to take mad notes on this. Especially DOMs and new offices, but veterans too, you're gonna get some stuff that you're gonna be like, oh yeah, and you wanna be ready to write down all those oh yeahs, all right? Because obviously veterans, you know how to run a push, but there's always things, and even for me, where I'm like, crap, we gotta make sure to do that. They're just great reminders for, what we're doing. So I'm gonna pull this, you want me to pull this up?
Sure. Open recent.
Boom. All right.
Who made that? It's a nice PowerPoint.
All right, cool. All you, girl.
Okay, so there are 3 keys to rocking push periods. The first one you want to write down and leave space for is mentality. The second one is preparation. You guys preparing stuff, so as a manager, and then preparing your reps. And then the third thing is the actual execution of the push. So first, let's go through mentality. So, do you understand the impact that pushes have on your office? For us, the roles of pushes in top offices, sometimes SC2 makes up like 60%, of our summer sales. Last year in SC2, we did $311,000, in a 2-week period, and we sold $868,000, for the summer. So it wasn't quite 60%. I don't know what percent that is, but it's a lot, of the summer. Kathy has on here usually 40 to 50% of people's summer goals are accomplished during the push. So you should know that, your reps should know that, but that's the mentality that you should be in. You should be pushing all your reps towards the push. So the second thing is how your reps actually view the push. And as you guys know, we love doing the sports analogy. SC1 is the playoffs, the Super Bowl is SC2, and the Pro Bowl is SC3. But the biggest thing about the push, and a lot of people always ask, like, how do we get people to rearrange their schedules for like SC2 or SC1 or even CFC so that they can be there for the entirety of the push? Like last summer, one of our assistant managers literally moved his whole family vacation during SC2 to after SC2 so that we could have him during the Super Bowl, and he was one of the top assistant managers for the push. He sold $8,000 for the push. Yeah, exactly. So imagine just an extra $8,000 for your push, keeping people here. The way that we did that was by having a PC, which Cody's going to go over, having the PC pre-push. But in your PCs every single week, you should be letting your reps know, like your top ones, the ones that you want to target for the alliance, that you're targeting them. Let them know, hey, you're somebody I'm looking to have on our starting lineup. Like, what's your schedule for the rest of the summer? Go through their calendar, all of May, all of June, all July, all of August, and put in there, when the push dates are, and explain to them, like, hey, the starting lineup, they don't just like leave for the Super Bowl. They don't just like leave for the NBA championship. Like, if you're LeBron James and you have the national championship game going on, you're not just like, hey, like, I have family vacation, sorry coach, can't make it, right? And the coach is just gonna, like, I don't know, fine you like $10 million or whatever you're worth, right? So same thing here. If you're part of the starting lineup, you can't be gone during the playoffs. You can't be gone during the Super Bowl or the Pro Bowl. So that's kind of the mentality that we promote with our representatives, and that's what I found works best, for them. Like, that's what makes the most sense in their head. Like, yeah, obviously, if I'm going to be a top person, I have to be here to perform when it's time to perform. The third part of rocking the push mentally, or your mentality, is what your intensity is like. Remember that people are a reflection of you. You will work harder than them, and you have to be stronger for them. A lot of them, break down mentally during the push, but even though you're going crazier than they probably are, you know, you have to be the stronger one for them. Like, I think part of the reason why my reps work so hard during pushes is because they see me grinding all the time. Like, John Austin, Adrian Barber could probably like remember those days from last year, but they saw me be here earlier than anybody else. They saw me working later than anybody else. Like, any assistant manager, they can try and call them like at midnight, probably not this summer, but you know, last summer, they can probably try and call anybody else at midnight, but I'd be the only one that answered. They saw me tired. They saw me like putting work in, you know, and I think that's what drives them to work even harder, because your people during the summer, like, they want to be exactly like you. They want to be just as successful, you know, as you are. So they want to emulate like your same actions. And if they see you slacking, being late to the office, not prepared for your meetings, you know, not staying on top of them, they're not going to work as hard. You know, me as a manager during the push time, like, I know that's what I have to grind the hardest if I didn't grind all year. So I'm waking up earlier than everyone. I'm going to bed later than everyone. I'm on their butts all day, talking to them, making sure that I'm holding them accountable to their goals. So they hear me grinding. The way that I sound on the phone is way different during a push than on a regular work week. Like, every time I'm talking to them about their schedule, it's always like, hey man, like, we're getting one step closer to your goal. I'm like talking quickly, talking intensely. Like, they know like something's happening in the office. And reps that aren't on the alliance, they're like, what's wrong with Mary Lou? Like, why is she so energized, you know? So that's kind of the intensity that you want to have with them. So, you know, for those that are always like, how do you get them to be so intense? Like, how are they also focused? How are they also motivated? That's because the managers are too. Like, Kathy, remember our first summer here in 2015 when we were here during SC2 push, I was telling, Ashley, that Damian Scott came to visit us like for the day. And right when the alliance, you know, ended, he came in and we were there with like our trackers, like in the little room over there, like in PJs basically, because it was like middle of the push. Yeah, we were. We were wearing our Istanbul shirts and we were just sitting there working. And literally in an hour and a half, we closed $25,000 in sales. Like, my phone, I didn't even have my trap phone that year, I think, but it was like blowing up, you know, like call after call after call. And he was just like, wow, this is intense. I was like, yep, that's how the push is. And when the reps call in, that's how it sounds too. I know, like, even when I didn't have a lot of people calling in that moment, I'd be like, hey, Adrian, tell me really quick, because I have people calling me on the other line, even if there's no one on the other line, just to create that energy in the office. So that's the mentality that you want to have. That's just the mentality that you want to have. What throughout the push is just that, you know, you're working hard, and again, that's going to push them to work even harder, especially when you're working harder for them for their goals. Like, for example, I remember during the push, I don't know if it was, I think it was John Austin during SC2, like, he was super behind on his goals, and he was like not doing something like to work hard towards his goal. So I was like just called him out, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I'm literally working harder for your goal than you are for your goal. Like, oh, maybe it wasn't you then. Maybe it was somebody else. But I'm like, I'm literally working harder for you for your goal than you are. Like, come to the office. Like, let's get this figured out right now. So when they see you working harder for them, they're going to work harder for you. So I don't know what that's all about. But the second thing is the preparation, okay? So preparation. This is probably like the meat and potatoes of this. Oh, yeah. We did a beginning part. But same thing. But cool. So execution, this is like the meat and potatoes of this talk right here. That is Barbara. Oh yeah, right there. Oh, and John Austin. I don't know who that. Oh, that's I don't know who that is.
That might be
That's
Charles.
Oh, Charles. Yeah. And that's Stacy. Yeah. Cool. So the first part of the preparation is the manager setup, okay? So the first thing in setting up your push is you have to know all your goals. Like, what are your daily markers? Like, what do you have to be at by Friday night to be on pace for your goal? What do you have to be at by Saturday night? What do you have to be at by Sunday night? You know, what do the weeks have to pan? Like, what do they have to look like? And it doesn't always work out that way. So I don't want you guys to like freak out if you don't like hit a number one day. Because there was 1 week last year where we were shipping like 20K day, 30K day, 10K day, you know, on a bad day, right? And there was like 2 days back to back where we literally sold like 3 or 4K, and I was freaking out, right? And we like rallied everyone in the morning, and like in the next 2.5 days we sold 110 grand. Yep. So sometimes the numbers, I mean, and you guys know this from doing demos, like you can have like 10 no sales and then the next order is like an $8,000 order. Like it's just, that's how the averages play out. So you can't get super tied up in the goals, but you should know your goals so that you know like where you have to catch up, for your push. And those are the things that you share with your team all throughout. So you have to know them. And if you have trouble with that, like you can talk to me or Kat. We've planned multiple pushes. But number 2 is you need to have an airtight plan. Like, if you're not where you want to be, like, what are you going to do to make up for that? Like, if you're a new manager thinking about, like, okay, if I'm not where I want to be by X day, like, what am I going to do to pick up my own sample kit and make up that extra CPO? Like, where are you going to get extra CPO if you're not where you want to be? I know for us, it's typically like, releasing more people in the field, taking them out of the office. Like, we're just going to grind harder in here. So for those that have staff, it's like, okay, I need to put my like thinking cap on. Do I just release every single person? They don't even work one day in the office this week and I just grind the rest of the week. I know that was like, I don't know if it was last year, 2015, but I was like, Kathy, for the second week, like I'll just run everything and close all the sales. Like just put everybody like in the field. I don't care, because we have to hit our goal. For some new managers, it's just going to be like, you know what? I'm just going to run one interview in the morning, one in the evening, and I'm just going to grind the rest of the day and do demos. So you have to be ready to be flexible to make sure. Like you have to have that backup plan, right? I know it sounds weird because you need to have an airtight plan, but you need to have a flexible plan too. Something that allows you to switch it up. And you have to tell your assistant managers too, like during this time, things are going to be a little bit crazier. For SC2, I usually like release everybody. And branches, I'm pretty sure all of you, minus 1 or 2, like maybe Jacob recruit through SC2, I don't know. Most of you are just going to be selling during that time. But for like SC1, make a plan where you're working more in the office so your assistants have more time to sell. Don't be like, don't see your don't just use them because you want more time to quote unquote PDI. Like, who are you PDIing? Like, I bet your team is not as big as mine, and I'm the only PDIer in the office besides Kathy during pushes. So
I didn't
release
PDI
them.
because I was with the division.
Yeah, she didn't PDI. I was, PDIing myself. So I promise you, you're still gonna have time to PDI. Like some of you are like, but Mary Lou, I have like 8 reps. Like, that's super awesome. Like, run your damn office. Don't put your AMs there. Like, what are you doing? The third, there's literally like 60 or 70 reps on PDIing during SC2. I promise you're not as busy as I am. 3 is PDI team meetings, themes planned. Like, you need to have everything planned in advance for team meetings, because you need to make sure that you're still continuing to run all the proper functions during this time. Yes, the push is about your lines, but it's also about your team. Your team sales, they can still produce a lot, even though they're not specifically from your alliance. Our alliance produced about 75% of the sales during SC2 last year, but 25% of our sales was still about $68,000, $70,000. And had we not had those sales, we wouldn't have had our biggest SC2 ever. So you need to make sure that all your functions are in place so that you're still producing sales from your regular team, because not everybody on your team is going to be a part of your alliance. So have all that planned in advance, okay? The next thing is all copies of contests and thermometers printed out and ready to go, not just for you to put up in your office, but for all of your alliance members to put in their blue book. Sometimes you guys just hand things out and expect them to do it. They never do. You know what they do? They get it and they put it in the pocket of their Cutco binder, and it just sits there all summer. So you need to physically, when you have your PC with them.
I think 8 or 9 of your reps bought these for me at the SLDM. You might have seen this come back to your office. All right. So I'm selling them now at the SLDM because I know they don't do it. We tell them to do it, they don't do it. So
I
set it up right now.
my office.
I buy them.
They're lit.
They're lit up.
Sell to them.
Yeah, I just restocked at Costco yesterday. No, because if they go by even a half-inch one at Office Max, they're $8. So some going to do $8. All right, so they might have one at home, and they already have it. If not, I buy these at Costco, so it's $5. All right, so you could give me $5 for all of them, and then I'll just go buy more. But they're $5 at Costco instead. It's the 1-inch instead of the half-inch. And then I have these printed. Yeah, double the size. And then I have this, and I tell them to decorate and make their own. But sometimes they never get to it, so at least they have this to explain the sponsorship. In that packet I passed around on the Recs page shows how I explain the sponsorship. I want us all teaching it the same way. It's in there. That's what I'm teaching all the reps. So they have this right here they can have here, or I like it in the blue book, with their goals in their blue book. But if their blue book is not set up, then I just have this so they have it. Then it has, because this right here should be to me in the blue book, and it's just who do you know? It has for virtual demos, and then we already give this to them with targets on it, all right? Now, the first thing they need to make sure they do is they fill this out with all their families people. So that's what I would tell them in advanced training is, hey, transfer if they haven't already, so they have a full one to look at, all right? By the way, Adam Hernandez did this, went back, his mom gave him 2 sheets, 60, his dad gave him 20, his dad said he filled out another sheet, another customer gave him 20, another customer gave him 24, another customer gave him 15, like once they see full sheets, you get more, and he was having trouble with recommendations at first, and then when he got that set up, it was like boom, 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 boom. Zyla was having trouble with recs. After we set her book up, her next one, 30 recs, 30 recs. That's happening with so many of our guys. So what's up?
You give these in training or advanced training?
We're giving them
Training.
training. I tell them in day one, bring $5 tomorrow or bring your own binder so we can set it up. I want them set up in training. Advanced training is just review. So day 2, they're leaving with this to do their recs properly. And Zyla did that last week, and all of our kids were getting sponsored.
Yeah, all of them. I think all of them got at least one sponsor. Even the lower ones got at least one.
And by the way, Adam didn't even know how the hell to explain the sponsorship. Just because it was set up, he was pointing to shit, he was getting names. Because 3 of them, he had like 8 names on him. Everything else, he had like 10 or 20, whatever. And I'm like, what happened with these? Why didn't you get 2 more? He goes, for what? The sponsor. I don't really understand that. That's literally what he told me. So it was really his customers seeing like a line. So he wasn't even telling them to do it, but they were getting to the yellow because they just psychologically they had a place to get to. So on 3 of them, he had like 8. I'm like, why didn't you tell him, hey, 2 more in your sponsor? He's like, I don't understand the sponsor thing.
So basically, even if they suck, they're still getting names.
So they have to point to. And then I have a coaching sheet on the back for them, which will teach them later how to get yeses and stuff. So anyway, I want them to leave with this because I want to set my guys up for success. And if any of you guys don't have it, I'm selling them at SLDM too.
Cool. So yeah, that's going to be a part of the PC, which we'll go through the hit list in a second. But yeah, you just want to make sure you have all copies of everything that you need. You guys are super spoiled because we're literally just going to send you everything you need to get printed out, and then you just print it out.
You need to do it.
Well, yeah, you need to print it out, and then you need to do it. So the last thing in the manager setup is you need to have your 10K Alliance meetings ready, which, again, just so you guys know, like, every 10K Alliance meeting can change based on where your team is at. So we'll give you, like, a syllabus. We'll give you, talks and stuff that you can use. But, for example, like, one of the days, we had planned on teaching, like, and SC1 is normally where you teach the most because you're getting them ready, for the playoffs. So you need to go hard recruiting right now so you get a really great team. But one day we were just doing terrible on recs. Like, everybody was getting like 5, 6 or whatever. So I was like, Kathy, you need to switch, Alliance. Everybody's doing terrible on recs. Tomorrow, let's do recs. And then the next day, let's do dropping down. So you'll switch things as your team needs it. And in SC2, when everything's more motivational focus, sometimes your team is just really pumped up. So maybe you don't need to do one of those like really deep meetings, the next day. That's just going to make them feel like weird. So, you just have to, you just have to understand like where your people are at. And then do the Alliance meeting that makes the best sense, okay? So, again, be flexible with the Alliance meetings. The second part of preparation is making sure that you're building proper momentum, okay? So, as a manager, what should your number 1 focus be to build momentum? Recruiting, okay? You increase recruiting as much as you can right now. And one thing that hurt us last year was that we stopped running steroids after SC1, okay? You need to be recruiting until day 1 of SC2 Alliance, okay? Until SC2 starts, you are a recruiting monster, okay? SC1 is a push, yes, but it's also a recruiting push for a manager. For us, our schools break a little bit later than everybody else in the company. And like, this is part of our gold period, okay? This recruitment process all the way through, like right now, we're still recruiting all these kids from mailers, from campus, from, just like the regular recruiting. But during SC1, that's like our PR recruiting push. Like, it's crazy the PRs that come during that period. I can think of so many people that came from SC1 recruiting. Ryan Culver, $11,000 fast starter, $45,000 his first summer, branch manager the next summer, assistant manager in College Station the next summer. Like, he came from PR push during SC, like not during SC1, but like right before SC1. So you need to be hardcore recruiting all the way up until SC2. And you should still recruit during SC2. Like last year, one of our top kids that's going to be selling this summer like another 50 to 70 grand, Michael Ames, came from SC2 recruiting. So, recruit. But You need to increase your recruiting efforts now. For your representatives, what you should be promoting to build momentum is not just doing a lot of demos, but focusing on the recommendations that you're getting. A conversation you need to have with every single person that's going to be on the starting lineup or on your team during this time is that a lot of them hold on to their best people for the push, especially your top kids. They'll be like, oh, I want to wait to see them during SC2. That's the wrong thing to do. Why do you think they want to see them right now?
To build
To build the referrals, because then they can see people like them. And I always explain this to them. I'm like, hey, Veronica, if you see like your top 20% customers right now and they recommend you to, let's say, like 10 people, and you see the best 2 on there, like the top 20% from their list, what you're probably going to get recommended to people like them, right? Yeah, exactly. And then like imagine how cool it would be if instead of only have one person to call, like Miss Jones, you have like 300 of her. You think that'd be pretty cool? That's what your SC1 can look like, and then that's how you build that vision for them. So I would make sure you sit down with them and really teach them how to prospect the best people. That way they're building like these massive like money people that they can call during SC1 and 2. Like some of your people aren't going to start off in the best circles. Like they're just not going to have the best people to see. That doesn't mean they can't be 10K fast. That doesn't mean they can't sell 10K for a push. One perfect example of that is like Stacy Williams from our team last summer. She sold close to 20 grand last summer. She came from like the wrong side of town, like the most wrong side of town you can think of. Like that's where she came from. Like literally doing demos with like some bougie people, like just really, really awful. Okay. But she ended up getting really good MAC recommendations, and she ended up selling 20 grand for the summer. She had 2 6K pushes back to back. That's because we taught her how to prospect. So you need to make sure you sit down with them and teach them how to prospect. Okay. The third thing, which I'm not going to go into because Cody's going to talk about, is the PC. But here's like a little hit list for you guys to hit with your reps, okay? Number 1 is you need to do their skills check. All right, do their skills check with their rec binder, and for their blue book, you need to make sure that they're doing the same close on every single demo. So teach them one close, whether it be the regular manual close, Kathy's triple close, or the kitchen close, and make sure they're doing that same close on every demo, and make sure they're doing it perfectly.
When they're getting the SLDM, just use that. That's what it's like.
Okay,
Close in
cool.
the complete,
There you go.
signature, or if the person only has the complete, they can just start on the signature. Like in that packet they have, it's the same close, just depending on which one, they're going to start with that and drop down. If it's an advanced person, you want to teach them to start always on the ultimate, then tell them to always start on the ultimate. But look at that packet just to make it easy for them. The easier it is, the better skill they get now, the stronger they'll be for SC2, and then you can get fancy with them. Right now, it's about mastering the fundamentals, getting comfortable, with just closing on a signature or complete side.
Cool. The second thing is the attack list. Third is the schedule. And really the PC, and I know Cody's going to talk about it, it's all about mentality. Like showing them you basically want to scare them into the push. Like these are all the crazy stories that have happened, but this is how we're going to get through it. Makes you a better person. Like showing them all the results of people, once they've gone through SC2 push. Like I love telling, now this year I'm going to love telling the story of Zyla pre and post like a push, because like Zyla pre-push, like super scared, little human being. Zyla post-push, like runs the office, so it's going to be an awesome story to tell. And if you don't have stories, like talk to your DM. I'm sure they have tons of stories, and maybe you're the story, of somebody pre-push and post-push that you can tell, your representatives. But you want to walk through like all the possible things that can happen with them. Like your car is going to break down, this is going to happen, and then this is how, we're going to fight through that. Kathy has on here, teach them not to fail. Failing is just them not trying, okay? It's not the result, and that's what you want to tell them. Like, it's not about the result, it's all about the effort, and them failing is just them not trying, during the push. Like, if at the end of the push they can say, I gave 100%, then they're going to be successful, and they're going to feel good about it. Like Daniel Lee, his first summer, really wanted to have a 10K SC2, okay? Now, do I think he gave 100%? No. He thinks he gave 100% though, so he feels really good about that push till this day. He's like, I feel really great, I gave my 100%, during that push.
We're like,
yeah, I'm like, maybe not so much. But for him, he felt super amazing still, and we kept him around because he still felt accomplished for SC2. He's like, 8,000, I'm going to get him next time. I'm going to get him next year, But he still felt really good because we taught him not to fail, basically. So what that entails is making sure they have all-day, call-day expectations and commitments. into the Sundays, the Thursdays, the Wednesdays, and the last thing is getting them all locked in for the event early. So make them pay for SC1 and SC2, like when you have your PC or whenever it becomes available, because if they paid for it, they're most likely going to be there. Your alliance, so they're going to fight for the rest of the push because they paid for the event already.
I
So
want to get them sponsored as of now.
yeah,
Just so you guys know, and this is what I'm saying, like everything keeps happening, and I'm like, all right, we got to find a way. Our SC1 location, by the way, the Crown Plaza that we normally do, whether we do SC1 and SC2 or whatever downtown, not available. So the hotel that we've been staying at the last 2 years, not available. Or not Rock Crown Plaza. What the heck is it? The pretty one that we opened.
Doubletree.
Doubletree. Yeah.
Doubletree
whatever.
Hotel.
So I got word 2 days ago. They're like, yeah, so they can't do your conferences. I'm like, awesome. So we're gonna figure it out. But
We can change that.
monies and stuff, but whatever, we'll figure it out. But I want to have a promotion, and even if it's a to be announced location, but that they can start getting sponsored on Wednesday. We can give them like the sponsorship sheet to have in the books, to have a customer sponsor them for the conference. That's the best thing, is get them sponsored now, so they get sponsored for the conference. Someone buys out a slice for them from cash or whatever, and they bring that to you. Or they sell to a family or whatever it is. We want to give them that, like, sponsor me for SC1 paper. So just pray that the Lord lands something great in my lap.
yeah. So just lock them in ASAP. When they have skin in the game, they're gonna get there.
Yeah.
There's a few more things, but room setup is super huge. Like when I first started Cutco, I started during the first week of SC2. Like that's when I launched, and I remember coming to training and being like, "What the heck is happening?" Because they had flyers literally from ceiling to floor, the whole office with 300K SC2 Super
When
Bowl
you
is
started?
here. Huh?
You said when you started?
When I started, yeah, I walked in and everything, literally like floor to ceiling, was just wallpaper.
There's no white space.
There was no white space in the whole, and that office, for those that cross train there, is huge. It was like and literally all the trainees were like, why is there, what's happening in this office right now? And that's what everybody, like even in your training, like anywhere you can, it should have stuff for SC2 everywhere, whether it's papers that say like, will you be on stage, who's going to get a trophy, the Super Bowl is here, a hashtag with your goal on it, whatever you want it to be. But the feel of the office always needs to be intense. Like, is there always like intense music playing during the push, like stuff like that? It just needs to look and feel different is the biggest thing. Making sure you have the promotional materials, and at every team meeting, passing them out. The promotional with the event on it, which now will say TBA. Make sure that you are like to be TBA, like the venue, but make sure you're passing that out at every team meeting. But build value and excitement in team meetings leading up to it. So starting from now, I wouldn't be talking a lot about the Super Bowl, but I'd be mentioning it like, hey guys, as you know, we have 3 main, events for the summer. The first one is the playoffs, and if we want to make it to the Super Bowl, we have to perform for the playoffs. So it's like that promotion, like they know there's a Super Bowl, but they don't know that like we can't make, like they don't understand how it works, that like, yeah, we're gonna play in the Super Bowl either way. They don't know that. So you want to get them to perform, for the playoffs. But once the playoffs are over, it's like, hey guys, we did a great job. Like the Super Bowl is coming. Or like, hey guys, we need redemption. The Super Bowl is coming. Okay. So always be talking about it. Talk about what the push means, and not just for your office, because frankly, like, yeah, some of them are going to have team spirit and pride and care about your office. Like 90% of them don't even care. So you need to say what's in it for them, income-wise, personally. The biggest thing for us last summer was promoting how people can get into GCLA by performing for the push. So that would be a really big thing that I would talk about.
That's
And
huge,
then-
guys. If your people really understand what this job offers and what they can take from it, like personally, like just how the professional skills that they get, the confidence, if they really get it, like your people want to gain that. Like who would be like, no, I don't want to learn how to be more confident. I don't want to learn how to communicate better with people. I don't want to everyone wants that. But anyway.
Yeah, and then you can like talk to us one-on-one to find out like how we exactly promote it, or just like Skype in for a team meeting or something. But I think the fourth thing I was going to say about team meeting is super important. Making sure every rep knows the importance of them contributing, that it's not all about the starting lineup, but it's about the entirety of the team. Okay. We usually promote like a smaller alliances, but what I found is that if you just get somebody's commitment to come in for one alliance meeting, they usually just keep showing up to the office. But whenever I'm at team meeting, I'm just like, hey, like, as you guys know, we're in a push right now. And like every order counts. Literally, if like 4 of you in this room just turn in an order a week, that's an extra $1,000. You know, people have lost pushes by dollars before. And you can say like the difference between like number 1 and number 2 last year was like $2,000, I think, or $4,000 between Kamani and Taylor. You know, so promote that to your team so that they know that they're also important. And then on PDI, invite them to an alliance meeting. And once they go to one, if you do a really great job, they're just going to keep on showing up to the meetings, okay? And then recognize your starting lineups at the meeting. That way, everybody, so that the starting lineup recognizes that they're separate from the pack and that they're the ones that you're looking at to work really hard during this time. Promote the team goal at least 3 weeks ahead. So right now, again, you should be promoting the SC1 goal. So for us in our office, right now we're promoting $250,000 sold during that contest period, okay? And constant sports analogies and promotions at every function. The AM push, we call it the season opener. Again, SC1 playoffs, SC2 Super Bowl, CFC and SC3 is the Pro Bowl, okay? So, I was like on the wrong slide, huh? But execution, whatever. So the execution of it. First, there's 3 sections of this really quick. First is the daily execution. Second is mini teams. And 3 is encouraging reps. So first with daily execution, whenever you have your reps in the office phoning, they always have to, whatever, it's fine. Whenever they have to leave for the day, after they've already made 20 calls, you always review their game plan with them. So like they would come to me and check out, and I'd say, okay, Adrian, how many demos do you have for the day? He'd be like, oh, I'm headed to one right now at 10. I have 12. I have a 4, and I have a 6. And I'd be like, all right, cool. What does your next 48-hour window look like? That's something you have to ask every rep before they leave the office when they're on your alliance. And then I get his schedule for the next couple of days, because even though his schedule is like semi-solid for that day, I want to make sure the next 2 days are set up so that when alliance meeting happens the next morning, I'm not like, hey, Adrian, what's your schedule for today? And he's like, oh, I have nothing, right? So let's say Adrian didn't have demos for the next day. I'd say, hey, Adrian, I noticed you have a space in between, you know, your 2 o'clock and your 6 o'clock for that 4 p.m. demo. If you can't land an immediate, that'd be a really great time to crank out a phone jam, because your next 2 days look like shit. So, you know, just making sure you review their game plan for the day. Write it down. Put it in your web PDI notes so that you know what's happening, so that when he calls in between the demos, you can go and click it and see what you spoke about, what he committed to, and hold them accountable to the activity. The biggest reason why people quit in the alliance is because they feel like, number 1, they're not doing well and they're not on pace for their goal. And that 100% comes from the manager and not building the right mental expectation. But number 2, you're not holding them accountable to what they said they were going to do. So now when you're like, oh, make 25 calls, they don't feel like they have to do it. So you have to make sure they're holding them accountable for everything that they plan on doing. Second is the morning contact, which, you know, you're going to have while they're there in the alliance. 3, the daily motivation, making sure you're always, you know, sending them positive things, whether it's on GroupMe or, you know, during the meeting, but always getting them motivated. You know, when you talk to them, if they sound a little down, you know, stop and ask them, like, hey, what's going on? Like, you know, why you sound kind of down right now? Like, you know, why is that? Oh, I don't feel like I'm, you know, whatever, you know, handle them emotionally. Creating mini teams. This is huge for us in the office. Really, the purpose for this is to create inter-office competition, and it just creates extra support for your representatives. So especially for like branch managers who don't have a lot of assistant managers, whenever you create mini teams in the office and you launch out a new class and you're also selling for the push too, you can have the new class call, you know, sometimes for support, your other like stronger team leaders and sellers, because you're going to be busy out in the field. So it creates extra natural support for you guys, and it also gets people competing in the office. And it doesn't mean that they're in charge of a whole team, but it's like somebody that's like their mentor or like their big brother, big sister in Cutco that's going to help them get to their goal. We usually pair up, like for our office, since it's a little larger, so for like College Station, Corpus, you know, HTX, Wasim, and all the big 5, it's like getting 2 people from your alliance to coach like 2 people or 3 people from the rep team. You know, for those that have smaller teams, it's like getting 1 person from your alliance linked up to somebody from your team. That way they just feel supported and motivated all the way through the push. And C, the last thing for this is just to encourage your representatives. Remember that 80% of your alliance will mentally give up on the push by Friday or Saturday, week 1 of the push. Week 1 is the hardest part of the push because they've never done so many demos before. Maybe the last demo was their fast start and they were messing around with family and friends for demos. Like, it really wasn't that hard. Okay, so it's usually the hardest part of the push because they're going in there thinking, I'm gonna have 4K days, I'm gonna have 3K days, and if it's like a shit day, you know, they're not gonna feel good like even day 2 of the push. So you need to know that, and you have to explain the mental part of the push. Explain the bad times as well as the good so that they're not gonna quit. Remember to focus them on the effort and not just the result. They need to be encouraged to finish strong. So just quick review to rock the push period, you know, the mentality. Do you and your representatives understand the intensity of the push? What do you look like during the push? What does your office look like during the push? Making sure that you're set up logistically, all your papers are in place, all of your goals are intact, you have an airtight plan, you have a backup plan, you have copies of everything, you have PCs with everybody that Cody's gonna go over, and you wanna take mad notes when Cody talks about the PC because that's what sets them up for success during that time period. Making sure your room is set up, making sure you're building excitement in your team meetings, promoting all 3 pushes and getting people's buy-in and getting them to move their stuff around so that they're there for the push now versus later. And then again, the execution, making sure that daily you're having that contact with them and that you're holding them accountable. You can't just like go take a nap for the day as a manager during the push because you're tired. You need to be there to hold them accountable every single second of the day. Like if you're not on the phone, you better be booking PRs on the phone. Like you need to always be doing something during a push. Create the mini teams, and then the last thing is encouraging reps. And again, if you have any questions on this, like call me tomorrow or something, or like text me and I'll give you the answer. What?
Nobody else up here.
Or that too.
Awesome. Give her an
Okay.
applause. Boom. The fire's brought. All right, one last thing, and we're gonna break for dinner. Pizza's here. We have peanut butter and jelly, and we have snacks. But I need you guys to focus for 5 more minutes, and then you get food. Got it?
Yeah.
So check this out.
Getting bribed again.
Shh, you're getting bribed. Check this out here real quick. All right, so this is in your guys' sorry, not that. This is in here, how to plan a big push. I want you guys to look at this real quick, all right? This won't even take 5 minutes, but I want you guys to see it. So what? Oh, it's not on the screen. All right. So check this out, ready? So challenge week, by the way, isn't even next week. So we've got next week is bonus. Cool? How big can you make next week to pop that out? Then the next week's training class would be what would be challenge week, all right? So you guys can look at it and say, okay, what's my goal for launch? So next week, everyone in this room, I'd be making it a personal mission. No matter what new offices, it's 5 to 7. And I'd be trying to get double digits. Those who have been open, it's double digits, all right? And for us, we're like, all right, how do we get 20, 30, knocked out? I want to be launching 30 in that week. So then you look at training week SC1, how many are you launching out there? And then SC2 launching out there. So this is more for DMs. Branches, you would cut this in half. Cool? So training class 1, DMs, 20 reps. If they just sell $1,000 over the entire push, that's 20K. Cool? Training class 2, 20 reps, $1,000, that's 20K. Training class 3, 15 reps, $700. That's 10,500. All right. By the way, faster CPO should be larger because of the intensity of the push, the morning meetings, everything happening. But even if it's lower, you still have $50,000 just from the fast start reps. Everyone got that? Branches, cut it in half, $25,000. All right. Then your next leg of the push is sales leadership CPO layer. Now, this is for DMs. A couple branches, you guys have a little bit of this. So it's like, can you get 1 rep to go after $10,000? Who's the person on your team? Can you get 2 reps going after $5,000? And by that way, this might be fast starters from this week's training or people that we just launched out. Can you get 2 reps to go after $4,000? Can you get 5 reps to go after $3,000? That right there is $43,000 in additional sales. Cool? Branches, cut it in half. That's 20K more added to your push. And then we've got the team layer. And I just put 10 active members, and that's just for the guys, the actual district managers with teams. That's another 7K. But that puts you at $100,000 SC1 push with that breakdown. Cool. And branches 40K plus is where that lands you following that on the lower end. All right. So what can we be doing to plan that? Because by the way, you hit that, you hit SC2, boom, you're going to be going on the trip, because that and SC2 should be 50K plus. All right. It's 90. Then you have 2-3 weeks in between. You have this week and you have 3 weeks after. Everyone with me? And you have your personal sales. So if you didn't get to $125,000, you didn't work right now. You didn't recruit right now. All right. So again, like I said, May doesn't matter. May's over this week. What matters is what we commit to for the month of June. All right. So we are going. What?
Thank God, May's over.
All right. Yes. May's done. All right. So with that, I do have the pilot manager who's ready to speak to us, but I want to get food. So I told him just to give us a couple minutes. Let's take 10 minutes to grab food, call whatever reps you want to call, and then bring your food back in here so we can keep rolling, because I'd rather be done earlier tonight, if that's okay with you guys. So I'd rather keep moving so I could have some wine with Cody. Yeah, no. All right, so go. Take break. Let me mute. Can I mute us? If I mute here, how do I mute us?
But you may need to sync my phone just in case. Hey, Kathy.
What up?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing well. Putting you up on the screen here, on the big screen. All right, let's see. Yeah, you got a couple friends. This is off. This is down. This is up. All right. How many times have I hit the wrong button and
Where
totally
is
like he's on the TV?
Where's your camera?
Oh, right here. This is the camera that's gonna turn around to see you guys. This is everybody. What up? What up,
Hey, guys.
people? We're missing some stragglers. You know that man over there.
Hey.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that guy. All right, cool. So I asked Darren, I was talking to you guys earlier. I know we have some guys coming in. Yeah, this is just Gordon. You get to stare at Gordon and Caleb. So I asked Darren if he'd be willing. He finished up training. He's running. Where is your office up there?
Yeah, I'm in Oak Brook. It's a western suburb of Chicago.
Yep. Cool. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Donald's old office. Cool deal. So Darren was actually the pilot manager when I was telling you guys about Muriel's start to the summer, where they started off the summer super slow and then crushed it. And even though they were at like less than or around 70K for the month of May, still went after $1 million summer, made some big things happen. And I asked him if he could just share kind of like what that summer looked like, what it felt like. Like I haven't heard it from his eyes. I heard Mike talk about it years ago. And asked him if he'd share with us as we're getting ready. And Darren, just so you know where we're at, our division really started later. We broke later, and even it's been kind of, even in the pilot, we just haven't had the recruits we wanted. We haven't had the results that we wanted to have, like in the masses. And so it's been a much slower start than we wanted to. And it was really cool for me to be looking at stuff and looking at numbers, talk to Muriel, because I know that, you know, obviously if you're really focused on it, like anything can happen. And just wanted to share, so from you, running that office that summer, you know, what happened, what was the experience, and just, you know, quick thoughts for these guys as we dive into preparing for SC1 push, which for us really is like, as you know, like I treat it like SC2 push, which you guys do too, like big push periods, period. So all yours, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know, how I got started with everything was I went rep to branch, and then I was pilot, and I was not slated to be pilot. We had a top 5 branch, Matt Reedman, who was supposed to be pilot, and he quit like April, I want to say, and April 15th is when Muriel sat me down and asked if I wanted to be pilot, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. You know, I said sure, and you know, in terms of my branch, I basically knew nothing. I didn't know what advanced training was. I didn't run key staff ever, and all that was like in May. He was essentially teaching me, and I found a quantum on one of my old computers that I sent. But in terms of May, I think it was only like total business back then in terms of quantums. But we did 70,000 in May, and I want to say around 14,000 of that was new.
I was gonna say it was less than 20 grand. I remember that for sure. So 14.
Yeah, and to give you an idea, I had no idea how bad we were until our division recruiting manager, Becca Hruska, some of you might know her, she sat me down on Memorial Day, and I just remember sitting down in the office with her and looking at the quantum, and she just asked how I was feeling. I was upbeat because I was so new, I didn't really know, and she was just pointing out these numbers, and then it kind of hit me. I just remember asking her, I was like, so wait, we're stinking, aren't we? And she's like, yeah, there are branches beating us. And I remember Muriel asking me on either May week 4 or May week 5, he was like, what do you think we're going to do in new? And I or maybe this was June week 1. And I told him 20,000. And he asked me if I was smoking crack. And like, and to give me an idea, at the start of the summer when we were introducing it, for training, our goal, like in the welcome talk, he would say the goal for the summer, and I remember him starting at the summer saying we were going to do $1 million that summer. The next week it was like we're going to do 900. The next week was like 800. And at one point, the introduction, it was we're going to do 600,000 for the summer. And that was, and so it was a rough start. We launched, I think, 13 people in the month of May. Like, and I just, it was probably the worst I've ever felt. And there were a lot of things. Again, this is like 4 or 5 years ago, but I just remember one staff meeting, him coming in and talking about how we missed the college wave, and that was, he said, that's fine, but from now on we're gonna nail the high school wave, and no one is going to quit. And we just got really serious about anyone that started on our team, we were going to really make last. And he said there were things that needed to change. And I was still in college, so May I was going back and forth taking finals about 2 hours away from the office. So that may have had something to do with it. It was me, another assistant manager who was at like 20, another one who was at like 6 or 10, and it was us three. And then every week, it was partly me, but mostly Mike and Becca, the division recruiting manager. We just kept adding key people that could really help us. So, like after those 3, we added a sales manager who was at like 30,000, who could run interviews and help. And then after that, we added an old district manager, and we made him, his job was to strictly do PCs. And his name is Elliot Lyons. He was my original district manager, actually. And his job was to PC reps all day, every day, Monday through Friday. He came in for PDI between 7:30.
We lost you. Is it calling back?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. We lost you. So you said his job was to come in every day, and from 7:30 in the morning, and then we lost you.
Yeah, so him and I were doing PDI. We each had teams of 45 people, and so we were talking to everyone. And the 3 keys that I would say really led to our high productivity that summer. Our productivity that summer was 6,000, I want to say. I don't know if what the company record is, but
Probably that.
we're talking about it with Mike. He says it's probably never going to happen again. It will, but it was, and those 3 keys was PDI, PCs, and event attendance. It was every rep every day, every rep, or for PDI, every rep every day. For PCs, it was every rep every week at least once. But the ones that we felt were quitting, those were the people that got 2 or 3 PCs. I mean, we weren't going to lose anyone. And the event attendance, I just remember Muriel being very upset if he didn't have a list of who was going to be in attendance.
Lost you again. Oh, there you are. Yeah, no, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was very upset when he didn't have a list of who was going to be in attendance.
Yeah, so everything had to be set up 3 days in advance, and it was so if key staff was on Monday, he would expect a list pretty much right now, right after training, on who was going to be there for the key staff meeting on Monday. And so Elliot, we did PDI together, and then he just did PCs all day between 9 and 3. And in the busiest week, I think he personally ran 94 PCs for the team, just Monday through Friday. And then, we nailed our graduations. That was and what we did is we just started focusing on the things that we can control versus worrying about all the things that was going wrong, because everyone feels like everything's going wrong. And we just we made a plan to really nail each graduation. And I would say that's what we did. After May week 1, we launched 5 people, but then the next week high schools broke. So this is June week 2, we launched 34.
Damn.
And then the next week we launched 36, and the next week we launched 19. And I was running some of the trains, he was running some, but we really just dove in with the people. And, really, our pop, I want to say, was right around, I believe our pop was about first weekend was about 1,700 maybe. And then the Monday to Monday, we were getting a lot of PCs in. And our fast start was about 2,700 or 2,800. And it really had to do with those things. If they couldn't make a team meeting, it was not an excuse. We had very clear standards and expectations for the reps on what was expected of them, what events they were going to be at. And we got everyone to the team meetings, and we just got them on the phone. Every call that we ended up with them asking them to get on the phone and give them a call back. And we were just really accountable to them. Then in terms of, and then after that, June started happening. I think we did about 200,000 in new business for the month of June. And in that, we just had three weeks in a row. Now, when we were growing, I think it's very important that at no point do I feel like Mike ever felt great about where we were. I remember our first week with that we did 50,000, and I just remember, and I thought it was good, and he just came in just really upset. And then at that point is where he made us start calling the number 1 manager every single week in recruiting and in sales. Every Tuesday, he called and I called the pilot of that office every week just to walk them, we asked them just to walk us through what they did well that week. And then 2 weeks after doing that, we were the number 1 office in the nation. That was our first $100,000 week. And then after that, we went on a period of about 4 or 5 weeks in a row of hitting, 100,000. And that really changed the summer. Is I think really him just really having a clear focus of what needed to happen, what we could control, and really reaching out to the top people and really asking, what they were doing, and then he was honest about doing each of those things, and being ready 3 days in advance. So, that was really it. And then by the end of the summer, we had done $1 million. We basically did $1 million in June, July, and August, and we launched 150 people, which that's not that exciting, but the team was. I still would say after that, a lot of those people have really stuck around and have been a part of the district for a while. And a lot of them have become really close friends. But the first month of May just stunk. It was a lot of late nights, and I remember we just had very high standards. Muriel expected me in the office at 6 a.m. every single day, and I was leaving at 10 or later. At one point, to kind of give you an idea of his standard, I was 3 minutes late, and he fined me $500. So it was just like a big wake-up call, and then after that, you know, everyone started holding the higher
I
standards.
like that. Sorry, go on. No, I really appreciate you sharing this with us. I mean, I don't know for you guys, like, even me hearing it, I'm like writing notes in my group me and my text with my team, you know, like with my staff. And I just thinking about like, because I mean, I talked about stuff earlier, but even hearing this, I'm just like, damn, you know, like just that expectation of like everyone gets PDI'd every day, everyone gets PC'd at least once a week, if not more. You know, people on the fence get PC'd multiple times a week. You know, every week, are you reaching out to the top people and making sure that finding out what they did and implementing that? You know, do you have a list of who's supposed to be at what event? You know, at least 3 days in advance, and making sure that you're just driving attendance. You know, and it's like they're such simple things, but those are the basics, and those are the simple things that go a very long way. You know, and then high school graduations, like they said, they missed the college wave completely, but committed to the high school wave and drove that and hit their graduations. Anything specific when you guys did graduations that you guys did? Did you guys just do cards, letters, anything with that?
Yeah, we did the letters. I don't know what they said anymore. I think it was a number to call, you know, or like a basic grad letter with our office phone number and maybe a website. And it was, you know, it was our division recruiting manager did a lot of the talking to receptionists and everything, but I had to be I was just the one with the plan. So in terms of the numbers,
Yep, we lost you again.
can you hear me right now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I used one person I felt could really get out 150 letters effectively. So if we were graduating, you know, 600 people, we needed 4 people there at least, and then what we did is we would just ask someone at the like one of the parents and it wasn't when we had the letters, we would just ask, like I would walk up empty-handed, ask where do you think the graduates are going to walk out of, and they'd point me in the right direction, and then we would just have 2 people on an exit handing out a bunch of letters. If there were multiple exits, we would have 4 people, and we would ask old reps, you know, from each of those schools, hey, what do you remember about your graduation? Where did you guys leave? Or like, what were the exits? What would you do? And then we would ask them to help out, and they would help us. And so sometimes we would have like a letter or like a letter runner to make sure that all the exits had enough letters. And we just really, I would say we really capitalized on that. I don't know how many we launched out of grad letters, but I know one of the guys, and then we just had a good PR chain going. You know, after a launch, we set up 10 PRs per Sunday, or on a Sunday per person that launched. So if we launched 10 people, we wanted to shoot for 100 PRs set up on that Sunday. And I don't know if we hit that, but I just remember that being what was talked about. And it just kept going. And eventually we got into a string of people that did $10,000 fast starts. I think that summer we had 8 $10,000 fast starters. And the last one was Will Caffrey, who sold like 26,000. And I would say he changed the summer. But never being content was, I just remember even when we were number 1, I remember we were like bragging and stuff. And Muriel comes in and was mad because we did like 150,000, but the 3 reps CPDI did like 50,000 of it. So, you know, it was, and so he always had something of what we were doing wrong or really where we could improve. Maybe
Yeah,
not
where
where
we
what
could
we
get
were
better.
doing wrong, but he always had an answer of what we could do better. But that was really from reaching out to the number one people. So
Awesome. I love it. Any other comments or questions?
yeah, and if you are feeling down, just May is discouragement month. I think you all know that, and a lot of people are feeling that way, not just in your division, but everywhere. But in 4 days, June is one of our best months, and in July is our best month. So just keep working hard. Don't count the hours. And it's like what you put into is what you get out of it. So if you're tired, freaking work harder. You know, that's or work hard. So that's kind of the way I feel. And then also just don't make the same mistakes twice. It's okay to make mistakes, but if it's the same mistake, then I would say you're probably not growing as much as you should be, or you're not. You're focused on
He said, if not, then you're. We lost you at the end there, but I think
all right.
we got the gist. But anyway, I really, really appreciate you taking time out Saturday evening that you weren't planning to be with us. So spur of the moment. Thank you so much. So beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kick ass. Rock your June. Rock your July. Excited to see you on the report. So we're gonna keep going with our staff meeting. Thank you.
All right. Have a good weekend.
All right. See
Bye.
ya. Happy Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, you too.
All righty. So awesome. And I hope you guys took some stuff out of that. I mean, it got me excited to just think about everything. And I think it's always good reminders, and I like to see everything rolls. I didn't even realize it was that little, that it was like 14,000 in new business for the entire